Hello, and welcome to the Infernal Gaming Podcast. You can listen to the show on Apple, Spotify, and all major platforms. If you're watching the video version on YouTube, make sure you like and comment. Thanks, Daddy.
This the episode they've been waiting on, man. This the one they've been waiting on, man. I ain't gonna lie. This might be one of the most anticipated so far of the year. I mean, we ain't really do too many gaming podcasts this year, but listen, we got a crazy show here, man. We got a crazy one, man. Let's get right into it, man. Let me know what you've been playing, man, because you've been playing a lot, dog.
I have. I've been going crazy.
Well, I've been playing, man.
We've been playing, of course, Halo. Playing some Monster Hunter Wilds live on stream as well. Been playing some Avowed. Actually did it like an impression stream on that when we first checked it out. Been playing a fuck ton of Mecha Break, some Helldivers, and a little bit of that Splitgate game. You may have heard of it. Had a little beta weekend.
Bro, playing
pretty good.
A lot of different shit, man.
A lot of variety.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Also, what do you been playing?
Man, you know, I've been playing this little known game. I don't think you heard of it. It's called Monster Hunter Wilds.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, brand new.
I was playing the same shit.
Yeah, yeah. We might need to talk about that. You know what I mean?
All right, yeah, we'll talk about it. But let me ask you this:
what's up?
Have you finished Avowed yet?
Nah, man, I haven't. I haven't. I was really excited to play it. I put a couple hours. I wouldn't even say couple. I probably put like maybe 3-4 hours into it.
Okay, that's a decent amount of time. I think
I've gotten pretty far, like pretty decently.
I think I'm about like 10 hours in, maybe.
Okay. You got some time in.
Yeah, I got to the second area, and I think I was about to get the third companion.
Okay.
So, what are your impressions of the game? What do you like? What do you don't like?
Well, for starters, I should start by saying I am playing the game on Xbox Series S. I could download it on my PC, but I was like, I got this Xbox that I never use. Let me just put it on there, along with a bunch of other games from Game Pass and shit like that. I just threw on there. I like it, man. I like it, but I feel like there's nothing like, because y'all know I love single player games. We talk about every podcast how much I love like these open world single player games, but from first impressions, like I like pirates. I like, all that sea shit, I think that's what they're kind of like the vibe they're going with is like, just kind of like this Caribbean,
like kind of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Or what's that game called? That MMO? It's Amazon made it.
Yeah, New World.
Yeah, New World. Yeah, kind of like the 14th century. Yeah. Like 14th century style stuff.
Yeah, man. So it's like I like the vibe, but I think for me, I really like the combat. I should just say that. I really think.
Yeah, the combat is pretty excellent, and the enemies, the way they fight is very good. I won't take it away from that.
Yeah, man. Like the problem with a lot of single player RPGs, kind of like Skyrim and stuff, is like the combat is kind of like very lackluster. You just kind of hit things until they die.
Mm-hmm.
There's really no strategy to it, but in this game, you kind of move around. You got to dodge. You got to block. There's like red unblockable attacks that your enemies would do.
Yeah,
you have like a special you can hit. That type of thing. So it's the combat is like really good, and it's like you can kind of mix and match, kind of like Skyrim. Like you can have like a wand in your hand and then a book in the other, like to shoot your spells, or you can do book in one hand and sword in the other, or you can go shield and wand. So you can kind of like mix it up.
And you can have guns.
Yeah, and there's guns too. Yeah, there's guns too. So
Although they're like flintlocks, so they're like single action. They're not like
yeah,
repeaters and stuff, as far as I can tell. I don't think there's like, unless they have a special weapon at the towards the end of the game or middle of the game where you can find it. It's like a repeater flintlock, but I don't know. I haven't gotten that far. I have to pick it back up and to play it, but I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter Wilds.
yeah, man, me too, man.
But let me ask you this, because a lot of people have been comparing it to Skyrim or Oblivion.
Mhm.
Do you think that's a fair comparison?
I don't. I don't.
Okay, cool. I'm not the
Yeah,
only one. I
yeah,
I think, and I realized this when I was thinking about it, because I watched a couple people's commentary, and people were like, "Oh, the game's lackluster, it's lifeless, whatever." And I'm like, "All right, yeah, that's fair." But then I thought about a game that is kind of similar, has a similar setup, different genre. Well, not entirely. It's sci-fi instead of fantasy, but it's the same style. It's a little game called Mass Effect.
mm,
So think about it like this. Mass
mm,
Effect largely has a companion-based RPG style system.
right.
The only difference, I think, and the reason why I think Mass Effect kind of does it better is because one, its story is better, especially over the term of the 3 games that come out with it, considering your choices matter throughout all 3 of the games.
Right.
Avowed's obviously not trying to do that, so it's not like a point against it. But overall, the story and writing is better, and replayability is probably going to be a little bit better than Avowed.
Mhm.
Um, Mass Effect largely doesn't have a Oblivion or Skyrim style world. Like a lot of the stuff that happens is static and only changes when you do shit. Like
Yeah.
you do a main mission and then people, they'll move NPCs around and stuff. But for the most part, everyone stays where they're at until you complete the objectives and shit. And then you have
Yeah.
that companion style combat, which I say Avowed does kind of like make it a little bit better with how snappy it is. But for the most part, the reason why I'm comparing it to Mass Effect is mainly because it is just that style of RPG. It's not
100%.
meant, it's not really meant for you to like, you know, oh man, I could put a bucket over his head. It's like it's not open world. It's open zone, but they want you to just get through the story. The story's supposed to be kind of linear. So
Right.
I think comparing it to Skyrim or even Oblivion is not the best comparison, but I will say that they could have done better. And I have seen like articles about them interviewing the game director, who has said that basically they tried to do open world, but they technologically could not do it. So I think it's like they were just working with what they got. Um, as far as like art style and everything, I don't mind it. It's not bland, but it's not like the best looking game.
Yeah. It's definitely not, man. Like I agree with you there. Like I'm playing on the Series S, so
I'm
you gotta
playing on
kind of
PC, and
yeah,
it probably looks the same. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, it doesn't
Um,
it doesn't look too good. Like there's good colors, like it's very colorful to a certain extent, like the blues of the water and stuff like that.
yeah, but like you dive into the water, there's nothing under there,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I think that's one of the lackluster things is that the world doesn't is a set piece and it doesn't feel lived in, and a lot of people wanted that lived in feel. They wanted to kind of like do what they do to Skyrim, and understandably so. I can understand why the average person would see the ability to put one hand with a wand and one hand with like a shield or something,
Right.
and you think Skyrim because it's like one of the few games that does something like that. Um, but also like companion wise, the only one that I've liked so far is Kai, and that's just because that's Garrus.
With Garrus, yeah.
It's
I was gonna
literally
say that
Garrus.
too.
It's the
Yeah,
same dude.
yeah, man.
I don't even think he changes like his morality
His
is like
voice,
the
yeah,
same.
yeah,
He's like the
man.
way he's sarcastic. Garrus is sarcastic. Like
Yup.
that's why I was like, you know what? Let me look at Mass Effect. I'm like, oh yeah, this is like the same style of game.
Hmm.
So like, I do like that they have a glossary that kind of like lets you know what shit means. But I
Right.
think I think every character being an exposition dump is kind of just boring. Like Kai has a few interesting things. The dwarf dude is like he's just kind of like a negative dude and kind of just he's kind of lame. I'm not gonna lie. He's just kind of lame. I'm like, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Like he's got to stick up his ass. But like every random NPC is like, oh man, that's the thingy thing. That's like a big ship, and that's a big ship, and this is what happened during this, and I'm like, okay. And then that's all they say, and then they go back to being idle.
Yeah.
There were a couple quests that were interesting, like the you find this girl that's like, oh my god, these lizard people invaded my home, and then you find out that like the lizard is actually a soul twin or whatever. And I thought that was interesting, but then they kind of just like you're like, oh yeah, he might be nice. And she's like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And then it's kind of like whatever. Like I haven't been back to the area to like check to see if anything's changed, and I'm not sure if it does.
Right.
And I don't know, man. It's just like there's one or two NPCs that have some interesting dialogue, and then that's it. Like they have an interesting personality, and that's it. And then you never talk to them again.
Yeah, man. Like I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like I like your comparison, but I'll do you one better, right?
Right.
I think the easiest way to compare this game is to Obsidian's last game, kind of like this, which was Outer Worlds. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of like the same thing, only Outer Worlds was kind of like it's almost the same game. I just think Outer Worlds like kind of let us know up front like what kind of game it was. Like it was like, hey, this is a comedic type space opera game where you can do anything, you can kill anybody, you can make your own story in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
With this game, they kind of left a lot of things up in the air until we played it. Like I knew what kind of game it was, but I didn't know what kind of game it was.
Yeah.
And I feel like I didn't even know, like again, like the combat was going to be as in depth as it was. But honest to God, I didn't even know like the game was going to have that type of theme, like the pirate theme that we talked about.
I mean, I got that. I kind of got that impression when you were like, when I seen a couple. And here's the thing: the game didn't seem like it was heavily marketed, like at all.
Not at all.
And so the few things that I seen about it, I saw they had the flintlock pistol. And I immediately was like, "Oh, Pirates of the Caribbean," because that's usually like you're either doing pirates or you're doing like the American Revolution. Like that's like the two closest time periods that I would think of for that type of weaponry. So like. I think, generally speaking, it's just like initially it looks good on the surface, but it's not very deep. And the only people that probably get a lot out of it are the people that actually played Pillars of Eternity, which is what the game's lore is based off of.
Yeah.
And I have downloaded one of those games on my Switch, thinking it was like going to be kind of like a Baldur's Gate style game, but it's really like a. It is a true isometric RPG. Like it's very deep, very lore heavy. I did not have too much fun with it initially, so I was like, all right, I put it down. Not my type of game, I guess. Right. But I think if we're gonna give feedback and criticism, I think this is the type of game where you take that combat and you bring it over to the next game. You take that exploration, because the exploration was pretty cool. Like how you explored and how dense a lot of stuff was.
Right.
Take that movement.
Like they got the platforming down. Like, yeah.
It was like, good.
It's not like Skyrim where you're just like, you kind of got to like force yourself to go over that mountain by just repeatedly jump. Like there's a lot of, vertical gameplay to this game.
Yeah. And that's what I liked about it. But there was no really, like as far as what I can tell, the skills, there was no emphasis on movement style mechanics. Like you don't get like an extra double jump or like you can't like wall run or something like that. Or like a grappling hook, right? To kind of help you maneuver throughout the world, to kind of give you like an extra edge in battle or something like that. It was literally like, oh, you can dash a little bit faster this time. Like that's the extent of it. And it's not a bad thing, but it's like why I can definitely say about Avowed is that it had potential and they just fell short.
Yeah, I just don't think this is the game that people were looking for. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of how I summed it up because that's kind of how I feel. Like, all right, I'm
This
comparing two crazy games right now, right? We
right.
got Starfield and we got Avowed, right?
Right.
With Avowed, like them setting up the game, like you going into it in the beginning, it's doing like the opening, explaining everything, explaining like what you are. Like again, none of this is spoilers. Like it's telling you like you're the god, like I mean, you're like this
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about
person.
that.
You're like this person that has like, weird features and stuff like that. And people comment on it. Like people throughout the world is like, oh, what the fuck is that on your face?
Yeah.
And things like that. But outside of that, like your character and the stakes just didn't feel good. Like I do like how you get to kind of start the game. Everybody starts in the same area, you do the same quest, everything, but it's like your purpose, everybody's purpose is a little different because like it all depends on like what your I don't think it's your class, but like your background that you choose. So like I picked to be like the part of like a big guy in the empire. So it was like everybody was like showing me mad love. Like, oh man, we love the empire. Da, da, da. I mean, it's like, all right.
Yeah, I picked like the ranger thing. And it's like, you had a lot of survivalist dialogue and stuff, which I'm not knocking them for because it's like it adds a little bit of variety if you want to do a replay. But I think it's not enough to warrant a replay, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Like I was gonna get to that, but I feel like even with Starfield, right? A lot of people say like the premise was like boring, right? But I felt like until you got to that first point in Starfield, which I can say now, the game's been out forever, where you finally get like the Starborn powers. That's when it's like, okay, you decide if you're gonna keep going or you're gonna drop because there was kind of like that excitement to figure out, okay, like what is my character's place in this world? But in Avowed, like literally the first hour, you have like 8 different people. Oh, you're a god, like you're a god, like you're a god. But you like kind of really have no like it has no like heavy importance in anything that's really going
Not
on.
unless you played the prior games, and that's probably the problem with it.
Probably the problem, right? But then I feel like even still, like the dialogue just wasn't that interesting, right? It wasn't that interesting. As much as I love Garrus, I do like Kai's character, but he doesn't seem like he was too much, fleshed out to be anything different but a character he played before in the past.
Honestly, I think he's like the most fleshed out that I've seen so far.
Wow.
Like out of the 2 companions I have, he's like the most interesting.
Yeah.
But it's not like
that's not saying a lot. That's not
it's not. It's like I was like, well, what's up, Garrus? I remember you in Mass Effect.
That's
it's
exactly
like
what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, but my name's Kai now, and I'm not the Archangel or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, all right, cool. And he's like the same dude. So I was like,
but I mean, like,
yeah, he's blue too, and he's a lizard. He's a lizard fish person. I don't know what the fuck he is. That's another thing that kind of like annoyed me. I was like, the first dude that pulls you from the fucking wreck is like a blue furry guy, and I'm like, what are you? Like, what the fuck is this?
And there's no dialogue to even like.
You can't ask because you apparently existed in this shit before and just happen to know.
But look, let's compare it to again, like I said, Obsidian's last game, Outer Worlds. Literally, like that game had, to me, as much as I love that game, I love Outer Worlds. Like that game.
I thought it was okay.
I think it's like a nice little 9. I wouldn't go any higher than it. I thought that game was really good, but I thought the dialogue was like super fleshed out. Like they had 80 different ways to say yes, or 80 different ways to ask a question. Like I really like.
Well, it's not even 80 different ways to ask questions, 80 different ways to ask the question, and then 80 different responses to the way you ask that question.
Yeah, I like that, man. And I really, really, really like that.
But there's none of that here.
It's just very straightforward. It's just every option you pick basically just advances the dialogue to like the next point, to the next point. It's nothing to just like, hey, do you have any questions for me? Oh yeah, what the fuck are you, man? Like, I mean,
it's like, because as a new player, the glossary only pops up if they say the word. So I'm like, okay, what is the blue furry race? No one has said what their race is. So I'm like, okay, so they're just a giant they're just giant Furbies. Like that's basically what I wrote them off in my head. And I don't think Kai really references his shit until a little bit later in the game, like about his like country or some shit. And then obviously you have a dwarf, and that's kind of like self-explanatory, because they're like in most fantasy style RPGs. But like, it's like, I don't think they made the game for the new player. They made the game for the existing Pillars of Eternity community. Who would have all this like knowledge prior to everything. And then on top of that, I think they could have written the godlike, instead of it being like you were an emissary of the emperor, blah blah blah. They could have been like you're just like a guy, and you just have like a scar or some kind of like symbol that makes you a godlike, but you don't know you're a godlike, right? And like, you just haven't been like found out until like, and then going through the process of figuring out, oh, I'm a godlike, and then you get all your god powers and shit like that, right? Maybe I'm a little hazy on like how the lore is supposed to be, but like, I feel like if they didn't done it from like a totally new player's perspective, it might have been a little bit more interesting. But I think they just kind of did it from like a player's perspective, in which they have all this lore already in the back end, and anybody new coming in is going to be like, looking shit up and like, what the fuck does this mean? What is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
You kind of just feel lost.
Like, I don't think this game's failure, a certain sector of the internet would make you believe that this game's, and I wouldn't even say it's a failure. I just think this game's not being as successful as people anticipated it being has nothing to do with the DEI shit. I just think
there's like hardly of that shit in there. Like, aside from maybe like the pronouns thing in the beginning, which they have the option to turn it off, which I think is like fine. And then I think someone was like, oh, there's a quest where you got to smuggle contraceptives. And I was like, I don't even think I noticed I did that. Like, like that's how dry the dialogue is. It was like, yo, you delivered the package. And I was like, oh, I did that quest. I didn't know what the fuck was in there. I just did it. Like, cause who the fuck cares? It's a mission. I need XP. Let's go. Like, like, I think there's like rarely any of that shit in here. I would say like if the art style was a little bit more, not better. I can't really say better. Different. Like either a little bit more rustic, and not as, colorful.
I think that's exactly what I was gonna say too. Is like, I think like Microsoft just didn't market this well at all. Like, to be honest, like a lot of it has to do
the development. It was like the game director had no prior experience directing games.
Oh shit.
As far as that interview went, and then they kind of just were like, "This is your chance," and so they gave it to her. I'm not bashing, like, this is how your first game was. It's like, it's not a bad job. Like, it's not the best.
Yeah. They dropped like a nice, like,
it's a 7 out of 10.
I wouldn't take 7 out of 10. I give it maybe like a 6.
A 6?
6. Yeah, like a.
I don't know, because
I gotta give it
had
more
fun with the combat, and that's 90% of that game.
Is it really though? All right, let me give it more time, and then
all right. You know what? All right, 70-30, right? I feel like it's like, all right. You know what? No, 60-40, 40% dialogue, 60% combat.
Okay.
So like, yeah, I want to say, but the combat was really, if that combat system and the exploration, how you explore, like verticality wise, that wasn't in the game, it'd be a straight 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Or
gonna give it
4.
some more time, and I think in a future podcast, I can give you more than impressions because it's just impressions for me. But I truly think like they just didn't do a good job like marketing this thing because when I hopped into it, it wasn't like I was mad at what product I was given because I'm never mad at the product that I was given. Okay, this isn't what I expected. It's kind of like Rise of Ronin. Like Rise of Ronin, they made that game look like it was gonna be Assassin's Creed game, like type like kind of something like Ghost of Tsushima. And it was
Right.
nothing like that. It was a fucking Souls like type game with some stealth mechanics that you can utilize and stuff like that. It was very much a Team Ninja game. And once I got into it, I was like, damn, this ain't what I thought it was gonna be. But I kept going, I played it, and I ended up like really liking it. I think I ended up giving it like a 7. I could give it like a 7.5. I don't think it's like the worst
It's
game I
just a good
played.
game.
Yeah, it's a good game. It's a fun time. But this game I gotta give it more time. Like I said, I like the combat. They nailed the combat. Combat is very good. I just feel like the dialogue is just
Yeah,
so
it's
like I
literally
don't
just everything
care,
else.
bro. Like that's the thing. Like I like
Yeah, you're not
you
compelled to
want
care.
to
There's
be.
nothing
I
to
want to
care
be.
about.
Yeah, I want to be immersed, man. When I play a single player game, like when I play Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I want to feel like a Viking. I want to feel like Eivor. I want to feel like I'm doing, living. I want to live in the world in that sense. Same thing with a
Right.
game like Hogwarts Legacy. I want to feel like a young wizard, going to Hogwarts as a 5th year student and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This game doesn't allow me to I don't feel like I can live in this world. And it's not that I don't think the world is enjoyable. I think it's very colorful, it's very vibrant, it's very cool. I do want to explore it, you know what I mean? But I just feel like the dialogue, like when you talk to somebody and it's just they give you like a dry response, which again is like you said
It's
with
literally like going to a convention and going
yeah,
up to the booth and like going, "Oh, what's this stuff?" And the dude's like, "Ha ha ha, ha. Oh, buddy," just starts
yeah,
going
man.
on a fucking rant about like 40K for like 40 minutes. Like
Yeah,
that's
man.
basically what the dialogue is like half the time.
Yeah.
It's literally them going, "Bro, Argent, the god of death. Oh, dude, I love that guy. Let me tell you about the god of death." Like.
Like I hope this doesn't fuck with the product that we're gonna get with Outer Worlds 2 because I want that to be
I want that to
good.
be good.
I want that to
I
be
want a good sci-fi
better
game.
than this. Just better than
Better
this.
than Starfield.
Yeah, I agree with that. I want it to be better than Starfield. I think the only way that game would be better than Starfield in my eyes, for me personally, just me personally, is they would have to be a little bit more serious. Like I think the game is a little too like
Too
too
slapstick.
comedic. Yeah,
Yeah.
too a little too comedic. You know what I mean? But it is a great game. It is so good. The first game was just I just like how you could build your character like the way you wanted to.
Yeah,
And
that's
like
another
I
thing.
played that whole game literally. I probably killed like 6 people the whole game playing Outer Worlds. The whole
That is
game.
another thing I want to bring up is the skill system in Avowed is kind of limited because you're
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
kind of like locked to whatever gear you want to run. And then on top of that, the skill, you only get 20 points in your skill points. And there's like 3 trees for mage, warrior, and like assassin stuff. And like
Yeah.
20 points spread across 3 trees is kind of rough.
Yeah.
So,
They
and
let
some
you
of them have
respec
multiple
whenever
ranks.
though, right? I think I've seen
I
that.
think you can for like gold, but it's like, it's kind of like, all right, it's kind of like in Skyrim, right? Because that'll be the closest thing I can compare it to, in terms of like how you build characters. Like you put a point in a perk and then you can do the thing.
Yeah.
Um, you get like 81 perk points in fucking Skyrim to do whatever you want, and then you're
Yeah.
leveling your skills up as you go, by doing the thing, right? So you're naturally building your own class. This game is like, oh, yeah, you got a cool gun that's better than your wand. Use that now because that does the most damage to the current gear type. Um, and any of those skills that you needed for your wand, you can just swap them out.
Mm.
Um, so it's not like you're building your class and getting better with your build. It's like, oh, my build is now currently inefficient because they're tier 3 gear and I have tier 2 gear shit. And the only tier 3 thing I have is like a sword. And I like to use guns.
Right.
So I got to put perks into the sword perks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that'll get out. Like the leveling, the geared system is kind of like not ideal for the way they want you to build your character.
Yeah.
And then, your companions yell at you because your shit's not good. So, which I was like, bro, really? Get better gear. I'm like, bro, what? All right, okay, bro. Damn.
I'm gonna definitely give this game more time when I find some time when I'm
No,
not
yeah, you
playing.
should finish it at least.
Yeah.
I got it on Game Pass, so I'm not like worried about it.
Yeah. Same with me. I mean, I'm gonna definitely give it some time when I get off of this next game we about to talk about. But I'm like I said, I'm not gonna rate it. I'm gonna give it some time. Eknight said he's feeling like a 7. I mean, you're feeling like a 7, right?
Yeah, it might change when I finish the game, but right now it's just sitting at a 7.
Okay. That's good. That 7's good. 7's good.
Like I think anything lower it'd be like a 6.56, and that's just
Yeah.
again like my tier is literally like 5 is an average game. Like it's something to play. It's not particularly the best thing I've ever played, but it's not like the worst thing I've ever played. Anything below a 5 is terrible. A 1 is literally I don't know why I bought this garbage.
Yeah.
7 is like a good game. Anything above 7, even a 7.5 is an above average good game.
Yeah.
9s and 10s are like
Why aren't you
fucking
playing
wow.
this? Yeah, like why aren't you playing this?
Yeah, why aren't you playing this? Like pretty much.
Like why aren't we talking about the game everybody wants to hear what we talking about? Like let's we spend enough time on Avowed, man. Let's give it to them, man. Let's give it to
So
them.
we're gonna talk about Halo, right?
Halo, man. I mean,
I fucking love it. Why aren't you playing this game?
why am I not playing Halo, man? Honestly, God, I should be because COD is trash right now, but we might talk about that later in the podcast.
Oh shit! All right,
COD
I haven't touched COD
right
since fucking Black
cooked.
Ops 6 launched. So
It's cooked. It's cooked. That game is cooked, dog.
like literally, I put it down for like a week, and then everyone's like, "There's cheaters. It sucks, brah." And I'm like, "Oh, I had a fun time, and I didn't even play the zombies."
You know it's bad. Again, I got like 9 days of playtime on a multiplayer now, so it's like I've got my money's worth and then some, like 30 times over.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's bad when on a Friday night fight I'm not trying to play Call of Duty. Like it's bad, man. Like of course Monster Hunter came out and I want to play that. I'm glad people want to see me play that, but for me to not play Call of Duty on a Friday night fight is crazy, dog. But we'll talk about that later. Let's talk about the GOAT, man. Let's talk about it. Since the last podcast, literally like a week ago, Monster Hunter Wilds dropped. Came out to the world, man, on February 28th, man. This is the latest installment of the Monster Hunter franchise from publisher Capcom. Open world. They went fully open world with this game.
Really? No, they didn't.
It's open world. It's open world. It's open
No,
world.
it's open zone.
It's open world. Like it's open zone, but it's open world. Like you can travel from zone to zone if you want to.
Yeah. It's not like
there's no loading screens in between or anything. Like you can go to.
Yeah, they hide it very well.
Yeah. It's
I don't know if I would. I don't know.
You might be right. It might be more open zone, but it's what we've never
like,
had in a Monster Hunter game. Like usually, you got like a main hub area. Do what y'all got to do in the hub, and then y'all go out to whatever zone, and you're out in the zone for like 50-ish minutes, probably less than that, most of the hunts, and you're doing what you got to do, and then once you complete the mission, you go back to base, and then that's it. With this game, you kill a monster out in the wild, no pun intended, you're still out there and you can do all types of shit. So I'm going to talk y'all ear off. I'm going to let Eknight kind of start it off and then we just going to jump back and forth. So
okay.
What do you want to start with this game? What do you want to start with? Because
I
there's a
want to
lot
start.
to unpack here, man. There's a
Okay.
lot.
I want to say this because I want to get this out of the way because I will forget while we're glazing this game. I played on PC. I have had virtually little to no issues, some stutter here and there, but nothing
That's good.
as bad as from what I've been hearing. So again, I have a 4070 for context, so I think I'm able to run this game pretty like I'm running it and streaming it on the same PC, and it seems like it's been fine. So like I take everything I say with that context in mind because I'm not having Ponut, my mod, she's literally playing a slideshow on her PC right now. Like for comparison. So like optimization wise, at least for the PC community, is not great, which is why it's sitting at a negative mixed status, despite it being the most played game on Steam right now. Or one of the ones. It's sitting at a mixed rating or a negative rating because of that until they fix that shit, which is kind of sucks considering how good the game is. But I really like how I can have 2 different weapons now. And I could just the secret is like way like they took what they did with Rise and they brought it over, and that's kind of what I liked because I played Worlds, and Worlds was heavy on content, like base game content. It's super heavy.
Yeah,
like the story mode is super long. There's a lot of monsters, but they're all like majority of them are all wyverns, which is the only criticism I had for Worlds at the time, is that there was no real variety other than like fight the wyvern, fight this wyvern, and they're all virtually identical in terms of like classification. They all fought differently though, which was good. Rise was a bit different. They had a lot of more variety there, but you had the doggos you could ride and the skill art for your weapons, so they added more combos than just your standard, hit the thing with the thing. And then they took what they implemented in that and remixed it with the wound system in Wilds. And the wound system is fucking fun. And I think it does make fighting monsters a little bit easier now, but it also just makes it that much more enjoyable. It's like, I'm not mad the game's not as hard as Worlds or Rise, but at the same time, I'm having fun. So it's like, I'm not gonna bitch.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So to piggyback off of that, I am playing on the PS5 because I've learned my lesson with Capcom that they do not optimize shit. I got Dragon's Dogma 2, which if you remember was my number 2 spot for Game of the Year last year. And I had a lot of performance issues with that game. Nothing like crazy that made me just be like, man, I gotta put this game down. But it was more like annoyance. Like I didn't want to deal with the issues that I was dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard that this has just always been a trend with Capcom games. Like they've always been like this with all their games. So I was like, okay, knowing that information, I will never do that again. And I did. And I went and got it on console. And my experience performance-wise has been flawless. I think I've crashed one time in 60 hours of gameplay. I mean, so pretty well. I mean, on console. But again, I always have to say this when we talk about these things, because people always like to forget what other people are going through, and how these things are just not good. They're not good. Like these games should be coming out optimized. Like there's no reason why people are having the issues that they're having. Like I've seen so many arguments. Oh, you're running this game on a toaster. You're doing this. It's like, but I know people are generally running on like new PCs, brand new PCs, and they're having issues. I mean,
they shouldn't be having
4060s, or whatever the case may be, and they're still having issues. So I think it's just an optimization thing. I think some people are getting lucky, some people aren't. It just really depends. But I can't speak on that because like I said, I learned my lesson with Capcom. As much as I love them, I'll never buy another Capcom game on PC ever again.
Yeah, let me do that.
Yeah, I'll never do that shit again. I bought it on console and it's been the greatest experience ever. Um, yeah, everything he said, like times 1,000. Because like I was really, as much as people didn't think I was really looking forward to this. This was one. This and Assassin's Creed were like the only games I really. This Assassin's Creed and Metal Gear are really the only games I see this year. Like, of course, I'm gonna play GTA 6 because kind of have to. I mean,
Yeah, you let me
I
know
think
how
I
that
have
goes.
to.
I'm not touching that game until it drops in price.
Yeah. I feel the same way. Like I feel like if I had to be fair, right? Because GTA 6 is just gonna win by default if it drops. Not to do too much glazing, like this game would be game of the year. And I think even because I'm like a Assassin's Creed dick rider, I've been waiting for this game forever. I still think this would be my game. This game is like really good. It's like really good. Like for context, Rise was my first Monster Hunter game that I like really played. I played Try back in the day on the Wii, but like
Okay.
this was like Rise was really my first. And then I went back and played Worlds for a little bit. It was cool. I fucked with it, but I think it was one of those things where it was like I kind of wanted to play it with other people, so I kind of stopped. Um, but this game, man, is just like I don't care who the fuck is on. I'm going out and I'm hunting monsters.
Oh yeah, this
It
game is a lot of fun.
this game is just it's there's everything. It's just there's so much to do that it's just insane amount of content in this game, dog. And it's like you would think with 60 hours in, like I've got like all orange gear. Nah, far
Dude,
from it, man.
I don't even think I'm that much in there. Like I think I've done maybe 20 hours.
Yeah, you probably just if you're level 10 like you said you were,
Yeah.
you just got to the point where you can start making high high rank armor. I mean, you just got to that point. Like,
Oh yeah. I literally was like wandering. Like I beat the main story, which it was good. Um,
oh, it's not over yet.
no, I know that's how Monster Hunter is. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
play the first tutorial story, and then you get to high rank, and then the real story starts. Like,
yeah.
but
This is where shit really gets
that's
the
how Worlds was. That's why Worlds was so fucking long, because like you would beat. I think you fight Nergigante for the first time in Worlds,
yeah.
and then they're like, oh, that's an elder dragon, and you're like, oh, okay, or elder dragons are just dragons, and then I think you fight Zora Magdaros, and then that was the end of the main story.
Yeah, that was the boss from the beginning of the game, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much. And then after that, it's like high rank shit, and then like you fight the actual true elder dragons, because all Nergigante does is eat elder dragons. So it's like it was like holy shit, like there's a lot. So, but Rise, I think, or not Rise, Wilds is a little bit shorter than the last two
it's
iterations.
a
It
lot
seems
shorter.
like.
That's what everybody's been telling me. When I beat the game, I think it was around like 30 hours. And people were
Yeah,
telling me like 30 hours, you were just be getting through halfway of
of
World.
Worlds, yeah. And
Yeah.
Rise was shorter than Worlds, but not by much.
Yeah, not by much. Not by much. Because I think
So
we beat Magnamala at like 20 hours, maybe like 25 hours in.
yeah, I think I beat like the main, like I got the first credit roll, like I want to say 20 hours in. I didn't play much afterwards because again I was playing on Switch. That's when the game came out. Like
Yeah. We were all
you
playing on
you
Switch.
yeah, so like
I played
I,
the
I
shit
like
out
played it
the
for a
game.
bit, and then like I was like, all right, I'm gonna put this down, and then I like I do with all my Switch games, I forgot about it. Like
Yeah.
because it's different room than where my gaming setup is. So like
Yeah.
um, but I want to say with Wilds, it's the first Monster Hunter game that made me actually want to try new weapons. And the insect glaive is fucking phenomenal. I love it so much.
Yeah,
I
that's my next
I
one.
played it a bit in the beta and I sucked with it and I was like, all right, maybe this is not for me. And then I gave it another shot in the actual game and I was like, holy shit, this is peak. And I figured out how to do the spinny spin thing. Apparently that's an execution. So like, I was kind of hoping that was just like a move I could do if I got close enough to the guy. Maybe they'll update it so I can do that. There's a couple other moves that I haven't figured out yet, but I think that's what I like about the game is that once I master this weapon, I'm gonna go like to my tried and true dual blades and then try and master them, and then just keep going through all the weapon lists. Apparently, like I've seen some bow combat. The bow is like crazy now. Like you're doing like flips and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, the bow's crazy. The bow has so much versatility to it. I was running longsword bow until I like really learned how to play longsword, and like that's all I use. I use two longswords. I have two
Hmm.
longswords.
You
I
have
got
two
one.
long
I got two
swords.
long swords. I got one for you know what I mean. I got one with like crazy fire damage and high affinity, and then I have one that is like no affinity, but it's like got crazy, like it does crazy damage to like Arkveld and all those dragons and shit like
Oh,
that.
okay.
So yeah, it's just a
Yeah,
crazy ass sword. So I
I
just
got the
swap.
I got the paralyzed insect glaive, and then I was like, oh, I can turn into like a little mini midair Beyblade and paralyze a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, shit's crazy.
Shit is a lot of fun.
I haven't seen a lot of insect glaive users in this game because the one thing I've
It's
been doing is I like one thing I really like about this game is again, like I said, is think Destiny, right? Think
right.
Destiny. It is like kind of like lobby based. So it's like you spawn into you spawn into the game in a lobby of I think like 100 people or something like that. It might be like 16. It might
Mm-hmm.
be like 16 or something like that. And then you can form a party with 4 people. Like you have 4 people that can like every time you start a quest or you begin attacking a monster, they can join up on you and do everything that you're doing. And
Yeah.
then you can do an environment party, which is literally like you jump into like whatever area, and then like y'all can travel around together and
Yeah.
run
So
around the area and kill shit and do
I
all
think
types.
that is one of the issues I had when I was trying to play in the beta is just figuring out how to just do that.
Yeah,
And I
man,
think there
it's
was that
tough.
we had that same issue when I was trying to add you as a friend. Like there's so many
Very
fucking menus
complicated.
for co-op. It's just overly complicated and it needs to be simplified.
Very complicated, man. Very,
You got to
yo,
join your squad, and then I had to like look you up
yeah,
on the search, and then
they
add
they made
you,
it too
and then
difficult.
instead of just putting in the friends list tab, they have like a notification tab. Like it's all over the goddamn place. They
They
need to
have your
just
recently used tab. So if you
yeah,
recently used it, it goes in that recently used tab and it removes itself from the tab that it's a lot, man. The menus is a lot, but once you get through that, like honest to God, like we were just joining up on each other. Like it wasn't nothing like me and all my guys, we just make a lobby because you can do private lobbies.
yeah, I
And
do
then
like that.
yeah, we just jump in there like 10 of us, and it's like, yo, you go with him, I'll go with him, and you know what I mean? Like we'll just do whatever. And then if you talk to Alma, which follows you everywhere, she's always with you. So it's like if you want to just jump to another person in your lobby's quest, you can do that from just talking to Alma. You can go to
That
Alma.
was a good addition, so that way I don't have to like
So good.
travel back.
So good. So
She's
good.
also
That's
not as annoying as the
she's annoying.
first helper.
She's annoying. She's annoying.
How is she annoying?
She's annoying, dog. She gets on
How?
my nerves. She's badass with it though. How she uses this like a fucking Pokemon, you know what I mean? Like I love
the
that shit.
guild,
Like we're
by the authority of the guild, you are authorized to hunt this fucking monster.
and he's just
And
like you're just
I
like
like
bet.
that was like when she said that the first time, my dude was like, all right, bet. Just fucking leaps off the boat to go kill some shit.
Yeah.
It's just like, bro, like
Wait
you just
until wait until you fight Arkveld the second time. That is the most badass scene ever, dog. Like
oh, I
you
thought I
just
just
jump down and
extincted them.
you're just
Spoilers.
basically like, yo, Alma, say the thing. And then she says the thing, and you're just like, bet, I'm in there. Like, yo, that shit crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, no, that was fucking fun.
yeah, man.
But yeah, no, how's she annoying though? Like, why do you think she's annoying?
I just think she just talks too much. Like,
Oh yeah, well
what
that's
the
like
only thing I'll say about this game that I dislike and it's not by a lot because I'm a dialogue heavy person anyway, so I don't care. But I know, like I did a 12-hour stream of me and like all my friends playing the game and shit, and they were all saying the same thing. Like I'm like, yo, join me on. I'm about to go hunt, this monkey or whatever, and they be like, I'm just walking and talking right now, man. Like I'm.
Oh yeah,
I'm
that I don't think that's a problem with the character. I think that's the problem with the game's pacing. Like you're playing through the story. If you're trying to do multiplayer, y'all better be on the same fucking beat. Like you can't really deviate too much. Like
Yeah.
I think you were trying to join me for the longest, and like you would do your hunt and then finish your hunt and be like, "Yo, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm on like a cutscene, I think." And then like 10 minutes later would go by and I'd be in the middle of a fight and you'd be like, "Oh, I already started a new hunt. Like, I'll be there in a minute." And I'm like, "All right." And I think you finally joined me for the Ray fight.
That's my guy.
Which is the only one I died with because I wasn't spec'd for him. I always go, I have been running Gun Lance just for him because his laser beam can't really penetrate the shield. So, like,
okay.
I was like, it's also fucking cool shit to just tank a fucking laser hyper beam from a dragon. Like, this shit is badass as fuck.
Bro is a railgun.
Like, he's literally a railgun. When he fired, the sound effects for him are fucking fire, dude.
Yeah.
You
wait till you get to the first skill check of the game, man. That shit's once you get to like I think I was like level 30 when I hit it. Or 130. It's when you fight Jin, you're gonna fight Jin again. That shit, I did it solo. That shit was intense.
Yeah, I've done literally the only guy that carded me was Ray. And that's just again, I wasn't spec'd for it. Like I wasn't expecting to fight him that time around.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the monsters are like I think he and I said this earlier, but the game is relatively easy up until a certain point. Once you get to like, I want to say the level 30 and 40 high rank monsters, and you don't really have the gear for it because you're like not paying attention, you'll struggle a little bit. It'll be one of those things where you'll get knocked and half your health bar is gone.
I do hope that
once you learn the different armors that you need to always be changing your armors for whatever you're hunting. Like that's just important. Changing your sword or whatever weapon you're using for whatever hunt. Eating is super important. You know what I mean?
Like, it also looks really good.
Yeah, I love the battle prep for Monster Hunter. That's probably my favorite part of Monster Hunter, is just getting ready for the hunt. Like getting you and your squad just sitting there. Like in the older games, it was like you guys were all in the like the gathering hub, and y'all would be eating, and then y'all go, switch your gear up, and then y'all would go out. With this game, it's like you get in your tent, you cook your food, which, like Eknight said, looks really good. You know what I mean? Like really fucking good.
Yo, I went out and bought naan.
Like, yeah, I had Indian food yesterday because of that shit.
That shit was so like the fucking. I was like watching the one cutscene, and she was like making these white balls. And I was like, "Oh, what are those?" And like she like put that shit on. I was like, "Oh, that's cheese." And I was like, "Bro, they put cheese on naan." And I was like, "I had to go."
Yeah, that shit's crazy. I got Indian food last night because of that.
Shit was good.
Yeah, man, and I like that too. Like the world is like active. Like it is very active. So it's like you'll have companions hit you up and be like, "Yo, Tashin wants to have a meal with you." So it's like, okay, bet I'm gonna pull up on him. That's a fucking 60-minute buff. You know what I mean? That's a 60-minute buff for these hunts to come. Like there's so much to this game where it's like it is hard for me to generally get the fuck off of it a lot of times, bro. Like I'd be like, all right, man, I'm gonna get off and play like Fortnite with the homie Serenity. Shout out Serenity. I'm gonna get on Marvel Rivals, or I'm gonna do this. It's like I don't want to play shit but Monster. I wake up and I'm just like, all right, let's play a game.
You get a text message from fucking Alma. She's like, I authorize you to fucking hunt this monster. You're like,
that's really how it is. I'll be like, all right, let me get on Call of Duty and get some content, man.
Like, the guild needs you.
Let me go get this content, man. And then I'm just like, man, fuck that. I'm gonna just get on Wilds and I'll make content out of that shit. Do what I can with it. And I'm having so much fun with the game.
Oh yeah, no, I like the free roam. Like I'll do resource gathering and just go out into the world.
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
Yeah,
I got
I like
honey
that.
issues
That's
for
like the
days.
best part.
Yeah,
Also,
bro.
how do you feel about the fishing?
Oh man, dude, listen, before you popped in, before we recorded this podcast, that's what I was doing. That's all
Oh,
I was
you were
doing.
fishing? Yo, I caught
That's
a
all I
giant
was doing.
squid.
Yeah, I got a couple rare fish. I got that blue, whatever it is. It's like a blue, it looks like a squid. Looks like a squid. I don't know what the fuck it was
I got
called.
like a giant squid at cause like I was fishing out in the forest area, and the ruins.
Oh
They had a
yeah,
bunch
there's
of
good fish out there. Yeah, there's
yeah. I was
good
trying to
fish
catch
out
one of
there.
them big ones, but it wouldn't take with the bait. So I was like, "What the fuck?" And then like it turned from daytime to dark nighttime, and then this blue thing was just like vibrating around. I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And I literally like for like 10 minutes got into like a fishing battle with this thing, and like caught it, and it was literally a giant squid. And I was like, well, not like a giant squid, but like a really big squid. And I was like, "The fuck? Like, what the fuck do I
Yeah,
do with this? How the fuck did I catch
you
this?"
eat it.
Like,
You
oh.
you literally eat it.
You gotta. Oh, I also figured out you can just catch fish, like at least the ones that are like in the ponds and stuff that you can walk around in with the capture net, and it counts.
Yeah, man. Like I said, like this game has so much to it, man. Like I said, you got the cooking aspect that, like, again, looks really good, and like a lot of people are kind of upset they got rid of the canteen with the palicos and shit. But I kind of like this a little bit more because it's like it's a little bit more like personal. Yeah, I mean, it's like a lot more personal. Like you have fast travel points that you could set up around the world that can get attacked by monsters while you're in it.
Yeah, that shit.
Like,
I
yeah,
think that shit's okay. Like, I think for an immersion thing, it's cool. But like for me, it's just annoying because I'm like, oh man, I gotta get this wyvern egg back to camp, and then I look at my map, I'm like, oh, motherfuckers destroyed all my camps. I have to go to base camp. So now I have to like
yeah,
travel an hour and a half
yeah.
walking around with this
I've been
big
in a
ass
camp.
egg.
I've been in a camp just chilling before, and it was just like I'm just getting everything together, getting my potions, getting everything, and then my palicos start freaking out. I'm like, what the fuck is that sound? It sounds like thunder. And then you'll just see your character get up and just jump out of the tent. And you're like, oh shit, it's time to fight. You know what I mean? Like
I haven't had
it,
that happen to me, but that is fucking cool to hear
it's
about. That's
fucking dog. I'm telling you, this game has like everything I've wanted in a game right now. I didn't even want it in Monster Hunter. It just happened to be Monster Hunter, and I'm glazing. I'm glazing. I'm glazing. I'm glazing. I love this
yep.
game, dog. I love this game. I love like Enai said earlier, the variety in the monsters. There's so much variety in these monsters, man. Like there's fucking like
Oh, dude, no,
goons.
the one
There's
spider
fucking
monster fucking fights like Spider-Man, and I'm like, what the
oh yeah,
fuck?
yeah. It makes the Spider-Man sounds too. Like like
Yeah, and then he's like, it's fucking, he's just all over the fucking place, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Like
yeah,
every
man.
monster I've fought up to this point was like, they had their quirks and stuff, but this one was like climbing all over the place, and then like
Yeah,
disappear
bro.
in the webs, and then like try to execute with like the
Yeah,
little teeth
man.
shit, and I was like, what the fuck? And then he swung at me, and I was like, bro. And he spawns little mini spiders to attack you too. Like I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, man. It's crazy, dog. Like this game is like really, really good, and it's like I said, it's unfortunate for the people who can't play, because either optimization or like people who are just stuck on last gen, which I mean,
Yeah,
uh,
that
it's not.
is kind of unfortunate. Unfortunately, they can't enjoy
Yeah,
this game until Capcom optimizes it and or they upgrade, which is it's always been kind of like an issue with next gen stuff. Like we're pretty far into the next generation for consoles.
no, this shit about to be over. They're already talking about PS6, Xbox Prime, whatever that shit is called, Xbox
I feel like
Prime.
the PlayStation 5 just came out. Like
Yeah, man, it's crazy,
it
crazy.
feels like it came out like what 2020,
Yeah,
2021, one of
it
them
was
years.
2020. It was
And it's
2020.
not even like 5 years into it, and they're already like, all right, PlayStation 6. I'm like, bro, you just released a mid-range.
People couldn't even get it until like 2 years ago.
Yeah, because of the fucking scalpers. Oh my god, don't get me started on scalpers, dude. They'd be scalping my Pokemon cards like hard as fuck. I'm really fucking mad about that shit, dude. I'm just trying to get a box of shit. Dude, these dudes got this shit for like $300. Like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not buying that.
But going back to this game, like, we already got 2 events that came out. I mean, like, of
I gotta play those.
I'm Hunter rank 6 and they have not appeared in my world yet. So it's like, it's dope that like I can now hunt them and get their armor because they got cool. Because that's what you're doing it for, man. You're doing it for the drip, man. You're doing all this for the drip. I want to look good when I'm out.
Well, I do it for the thrill of the hunt, but yeah, no, the drip.
I do it for both, but I'm trying to be dripped out, man. I'm trying to walk around and look like a badass. I mean, I like how the armor, you can, it's not in previous Monster Hunter games, armor looked differently depending on what like gender you were. Now it's like you can be a female wearing the male set and vice versa. Like you can do that.
And then like some of those are like they kind of seem neutral or they just seem like a better option for the fit you're trying to go for. And then they do have transmog, so you don't have to like
when you get the high rank, you gotta get the high rank first.
Yeah, you gotta you can like just wear like a particular outfit with a different armor set, so you're not like bound by that armor set's like stats and shit. So like if you're trying to go for a specific look, but for the most part, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. Listen, dog. Like I said, my favorite thing is just to do is like get up, get on the game, cook me something to eat real quick on the game. I mean, make sure all my gear is ready. Go to post join quests. Go to lobby quests. See what people are doing in the lobby and just jump in and get some free shit. Because you'll join somebody's mission and they'll just kill the boss. So it's like, all right, I pull up, carve what I gotta get, and I'm.
Oh yeah, That you'll either get people that are just like high as fuck level wise, and they just one shot a lot of shit, or they're like, or they join you. And then you're doing good, but then they just come in and just wipe the floor with the monster, and then that's it. Like they just carve it and get the fuck out. Like
and the community's pretty good, man. Like there's one person I had like that was low key like an asshole. Yeah. Everybody else was pretty like generally like helpful, like really good, really cool people. I mean, because the game does have like an in-game chat and stuff like that. So. I mean, you can communicate with people and all types of stuff. So it's like, it's a very good social game, like very, very good social game. And like, that's what I like. I like a game that like, I can play it solo, but I can also play it with the fellas. I mean, like if somebody's on, like E-Night's on, like, yo, I'm on. All right, man, let's make a link party and run some shit. I mean,
let's play some games.
But if I'm just by myself, like I'll just, like I said, I'll just sit in my tent, make something to eat. All right, let me see what other people in the lobby are doing. Oh shit, he's doing Arkveld. Let me do that. I mean, oh, he's doing Ray Dow. Let's do that. Oh, he's doing Jin Dahada. I'm not doing that. Yeah, I mean, he's doing Uth Dana, whatever the fuck that big ass fish thing is. I fucking hate that thing.
Oh, what the fish lizard? You hate him?
The fish lizard, yeah, man. He's just annoying. I think he's just annoying. He's not hard or anything. I just think he's like annoying.
I heard you could catch him on your fishing rod too.
That's crazy.
I've literally seen it. Like it's actually kind of wild. Yeah, you can pull him out the water. Like you can go fishing and pull him out the water. Like now you have to fight this fucking thing.
That's crazy.
That's literally the deadliest catch.
Yeah, they brought in a lot of like we got the Anjanathas in there. We got Rathalos is in there. What's the other one? The Rathian is in there. They have a lot of variety. Rathian. Yeah, they have a lot of variety, man. They got the new Udith or whatever his name, new Udith, which is the octopus thing.
There's like 2 octopuses, and I was like, I thought it was going to be 1, but 2 was like surprising, and then the lore behind the second one's pretty interesting too. So I was like,
What
Yeah.
the creepy
The
ass looking one?
Yeah, the one that's like just like fucking fucked looking, and like that one was wild because he would just like disappear and then reappear and attack you, and then like he can grab you and do like a
Yeah.
grab move
Wait,
too.
you're not talking about the Black Flame, are you? The one that's on
No, the
fire?
one after that.
Yeah. That joint is crazy.
That
That
John
joint
is
is crazy.
creepy as fuck, but I liked fighting it.
The story is good. Like the story, like how they explain like Arkveld and Zoshia, which is the last joint. Like
Yeah.
they explain a lot of these like new monsters and like how they come to be, and like we got like new types. Like obviously in the older games we have frenzied, tempered. Now they got newer ones,
Yeah.
guardians and shit. So it's
Yeah,
like
the Guardian variants are cool. And I want to say that like if you're out in the open world and you can go to that area where they spawn at, like the egg sacs, you can wake them up and fight them.
yeah, man.
There's like so much detail in this game where you can
And
just
that's
do little
why,
shit like that.
oh man, that's why I'm just gonna say it, man. I'm giving this game a 10 out of 10, dog.
Oh yeah. No,
I'm
for
giving
me
it
it's
a
the
10 out
same.
of 10. I'm giving it as much as like I struggle with it at first because I'm like, I don't want to give a game like this a 10 out of 10 and piss off like people like I mean that the optimization is bad on PC. I've seen it. I've
Yeah.
dealt with it. I've had friends that I was playing with and they're just like, oh, hold up, my shit's moving like a fucking slideshow right now. I'm just like, damn, dog.
Yeah, no, that's not like that's the part that pisses me off a little bit because it's like you have a really good game otherwise without that issue. You just
Yeah,
basically
man.
have a perfect game, but you guys couldn't be fucked to optimize it. Like, come on, man. And
Yeah,
you're selling this
it's
shit at
crazy.
$70? Like, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
man. Well,
That's full
more than
price.
that, 'cause I got the deluxe joint, so I got
All right. Well, you do that with everything. So like,
No, I got the deluxe shit after.
oh
I put
yeah,
like 30 hours into the game. I was like, oh, where's that deluxe upgrade at?
I gotta upgrade.
I need
I
all that
need
shit.
I need those potions that I already got.
Nah, it like gives you like a bunch of cosmetic shit. Like I just
Oh,
want
that's cool.
cosmetics and stuff. Like I really like.
I'm still gonna say this, and I know a lot of people are gonna like be like, "What the fuck, man?" I would love to try out a Monster Hunter PvP. I'm not gonna lie.
What do you mean, like you fight
Like
each other?
kind of like I know some people are like, "Oh, leaderboards." I'm like, no, like you fight each other and the monster.
Oh, that'd be cool.
A
I
competitive
feel like they
hunt.
tried that. I feel like they
They
tried.
probably did, and it's probably an older Monster Hunter game, but I feel like it based on the current mechanics, it'd probably be cool.
Yeah, like
It'd be something
this
that's
game's
like
great.
niche though.
Yeah, this game is literally like great. Like it's just a good hop on. I mean, like you don't even have to have anything to do. Just hop on, run a couple hunts, be satisfied, get off, go to work, do what you got to do, hang out with your girl, whatever the
Yeah,
case
you can
may
just go
be.
fishing.
It's a great dog. That's literally all I did today. I set up my camps next to like waterfronts, and I just jumped all to every waterfront, was just fishing, catching different fish. You know what I mean, like, and I love fishing in games, so it's like that gets 2 points by itself. The fact that this game is cross-play too, like
Yeah, that's a big one.
if this game wasn't cross-play, it'd probably be like a 8 or a 9 out of 10. Probably an 8 because cross-play just really like again, like this is a game where there's a lot of social elements to it. There's a lot of just hey, come and do this with me type moments, and it's great. Like you can
Yeah,
fish
no,
together. Like we can
that's a
fish
big
together.
selling point. You be
Yeah,
able to
man.
play with your friends on all platforms is a big selling point.
Yeah, man. So like they did really good and fixed the optimization. Like again, we already got 2 events. I heard we're supposed to be getting Mitsune or whatever you
Yeah,
said.
for the first season or something
Yeah,
like
man.
that. That one you
Yeah.
fight. I think you fought her in Rise. She's actually
Yeah, she's
really
in Rise. Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah. So I'm excited, dog. I'm fucking I'm ready, man. I'm ready, dog. I'm ready to just go. I'm ready to just play this game all year.
Yeah,
Call of Duty's in such a bad state right now. Like,
no, that's
I'm ready to
good.
just play
It's
this.
good to have something to fall back on.
Yeah, man. Like, real shit. Like, did that fucking Call of Duty going down the hole had me thinking like, let me get on Apex. I heard Apex is good. I'm not.
Fucking Apex.
I do.
Yeah, I feel like Apex is gonna just like fizzle out at some point if they don't do anything different.
Well, we got some Apex related news that we'll talk about later.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, man, that's our review of Monster Hunter, man. If you didn't see my streams of literally from last Friday to last Sunday, it was all to this Wednesday was all Monster Hunter. That should have let you know. I really like the game. I hope the people who do watch me like watching the game. And yeah, I love this game. Go buy it. Go play it. I mean, don't buy it on PC though. I mean,
don't buy it on PC unless you have a really good rig, and even then,
man.
Like, look at the forum, see what your exact specs you're running. Mine shit is I built mine, and it's fairly new, so like it's probably why I can run this game relatively well.
Yeah, but and this game is like, hold on, let me look on my PlayStation. It is the total size it takes on my PlayStation is 53 gigabytes.
That's crazy considering how like detailed the worlds are.
And big the game is. Like the fuck, we got Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is
that's probably gonna be 200 gigs.
Gigabytes.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, man, shit's crazy. Shit's crazy, but I mean, like 53 gigabytes, man.
Nice. But you know what? You know what other game that's relatively not that memory heavy right now? That's
Mecha Break. That's
yeah.
Yeah, Mecha Break is a small game.
25 gigs.
Yeah, and they just did a little beta test a couple weeks ago, or like a week or two ago.
Oh no, it's still going.
It's still going on. It's still going on. I didn't play this beta test yet because, like, again, I've been playing everything, but I've just been playing Monster Hunter, dog. So, like, we gonna pass it.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Pass it to Eknight. We gonna let him because I think we talked about it before, and like I just can't wait for this game to come out. I'm ready for it to come out. Like, generally, right now with Call of Duty, and again, like I know I keep saying it, but we'll bring it up later. With Call of Duty being in the shit spot that it's in right now. Like I'm looking for like a game like Mecha Break, Frag Punk, which I did play, which we might talk about later. Splitgate.
Is that out?
2. It's out. Yeah, it's out.
All right, I'll have to check that out then.
Yeah, we're running it on Friday. Pretty good game.
Yeah, I saw you were streaming it, but I didn't really get a time to jump in and check it out.
Yeah, it's pretty dope, man. We'll talk about that later. Right now, Mecha Break, a new PvP, PvE, PvP, EVE type game, Gundam type shit,
bro.
Type shit, man.
Let me tell you, okay. This game is literally everything you want from like a multiplayer emphasized Armored Core 6 type game. Like, first of all, they definitely stole this shit from Armored Core 6. Like the UI, the way the bots move, they stole that shit heavy, and I'm okay with that. Like, because they implement it very fucking well. I'm glad to hear. It is a hero shooter style game. Like each mech is their own class, like Gundam Evolution was. So you have like obviously like your melee builds, and you got your mixed range and melee, and then you got kind of like specialty classes and stuff like that. Almost every single one of the mechs that I've used so far, with the exception of like one that I did not like at all, are pretty fun to use. Like your basic mech is like it looks like a Gundam from Gundam Unicorn. I'm not gonna lie. It has like a lance, an energy lance, and it has like a shield, and then you can swap like your lance for your pistol gun thing. But it's all lock on based, so like since it is crossplay between Xbox and PC, there's not going to be much variation in terms of like skill difference, because it's mostly lock on based, and there are environmental hazards on certain maps that like disable the lock on completely, and actually disable your friend and foe indicator, so you can't really tell who's your friend and who's not.
That's kind of dope.
Which it's only for one map, but I hope they implement that in the extraction mode, which is out during this beta test. If you ever get the chance to try it out, you should. It's actually pretty well made considering what they're trying to get you to do. But basically, the game's ecosystem is set up like this. You have your standard 6v6 multiplayer, which is like, domination. They have a competitive push the payload type thing, but instead of it just being like round based where you take turns pushing the payload, it's both at the same time. So it's kind of like a race, and
Yeah,
you
I
have
remember
checkpoints
that
you
from
got to
the other
capture.
beta. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
pretty dope.
yeah, that's a lot of fun. Again, there's only one map for each mode, so they're still adding stuff. But there's also capture the keys, which is on a desert map. You capture these keys from certain points, and you have to bring it and upload it to this rocket. And that's also the map where that dust storm rolls in and disables your IFF and shit and your auto lock. So now you're kind of like have to like fight blind and figure out if you're like fighting a friend or fighting an enemy. So if you're a shooting class, you're kind of screwed unless you're playing on M and K because you can kind of manually aim. But melee classes will be able to kind of like broadly attack. They just won't be able to like lock on really. Um, there's also team deathmatch mode that's like round based. So it's like first to 6 points and you win the round. So it emphasizes on staying alive and playing together and not like going off on your own and being a dickhead. Um, so there's that, and then there's also I want to say there's one more I'm trying to think of, but I'm blanking on it at the moment. Um, but there's also the extraction mode, and this is where you get your mods for the most part. So it's a three. You can play solo, or you can play with a squad of 3. You drop in on a giant map. You fight enemy bosses, NPC bosses, and shit. Some of them are cool as fuck. Like there's a giant mech that spawns at the north of the map, and will like gradually just start moving south throughout the map as the game goes on. Like, and you're trying to kill it, so you get like this badass loot and shit. Um, you can also add modular weapons that kind of alter how your class plays based on like what weapons you equip when you spawn in. They have a glider mechanic that's exclusive to this game mode, so you can make traversing easier with slower mechs. Um, and there's also like you're fighting against other players at the same time and trying to get to the extraction points, which the way they set it up is makes sure that you're gonna actually have to fight to get out. Like there's no like, oh, I just want to leave type shit. Like you have to like capture the point and then you can go.
Okay.
And it makes like for a lot of interesting like combat and shit. You can call people back in if they die, but all the loot that you had gathered up to that point basically is like on your dead body. So if the enemy doesn't loot you, you got to loot it again. I will say my main gripe is the inventory size you have is very small, so you kind of have to prioritize higher tier loot than just anything.
Right.
And you do get chances to kind of like send shit ahead with like a loot rocket that spawns in every like 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay,
So if you got like a high tier like mod or crate or like a specific blueprint, you can set it ahead. So in case you die, you still get something out of it. So it's pretty good. Like I want to say it's like it's coming. Like they fleshed it out more. They have like a story that I think basically parodies the story of AC6, where they're like, and I know spoilers if you haven't played it yet, but they basically have the coral and Armored Core 6 is like sentient to an extent. They have Corite in this game that's like the same shit, but it just does different shit. So they'll make like zombie mechs out of it. It's actually kind of cool. Because if you load up the game for the first time, you basically play the intro that you played last time in the beta, but then there's a little bit more to it. There's another tutorial for the extraction mode that introduces like the Corite mechs that basically become zombified after you defeat them the first time around, and then you have to fight them a second time around. So it's just fun. It's a lot of fun.
I'm gonna try that joint. I didn't know the extraction mode was out on the beta already. All right.
And fucking.
So let me ask you this. I didn't mean to cut you off, but let me ask you this.
No, you're good.
Just for the listeners, right? This game is free to play, right?
Right now it is. I don't know if it's going to be something that's going to come out as free to play, but right now the beta is free to download and play it.
Oh, I thought the game was coming out like free to play.
It's definitely modeled after like a free to play title. I want to say it's going to be free to play, but I'm not 100% certain because I do not remember the developers announcing how they're going to monetize the game. It seems like it's going to be monetized like your standard Overwatch type game. Like you can buy the battle pass, you can buy cosmetics, you can buy I think like little I think you can buy the crates, some of the crates if I remember correctly, but again, you can buy mechs, but it's like you can also unlock mechs, so it's not really too much of a big deal. It's not like Gundam Evolution's level of like trying to get a new dude. Like you'll get like the first handful of mechs pretty relatively easily, and then the higher tier, like the more like better mechs are like you can either grind out the currency to get it or you can just pay for it. But right now there's no option to actually spend money in the game, so you're kind of like locked to just grinding it out.
Okay, which is good for now. It's good
For now, yeah.
Okay.
But the only thing about this game is that it's not on PlayStation.
I thought it was. I think it is. I think it's on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC.
No, so it's only on Xbox and PC right now.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think you might be confusing it with Splitgate, which is all 3 platforms.
Yeah.
Because that alpha launched during this alpha or beta test.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's coming to PlayStation. They haven't really said anything about it.
I think I seen it when I looked it up. I looked it up if it was coming to PlayStation when we had streamed it way back together.
It may have planned to come to PlayStation, but maybe they changed course. I'm not entirely sure.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna dive into it, man. I'm gonna definitely dive into it and check it out, man. Because, like I said, with the current state of some of my other games, that might be something. I was hoping this game would be free to play. It seems like it's a free to play game.
Yeah, no, this is exclusive to Xbox.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I think it's gonna be free to play.
Is Mega Break free to play? It might not be. Oh shit, this might be a pay.
I mean, if I have to pay for it, I'd be fine. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think I would buy it too. But
like gameplay wise alone, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I just hope it's not one of those paid games.
It says the beta that's out now is also going to be the full game will also be free to play.
Okay, good.
So yeah, you're good.
That's what I wanted, man. I want a new. I think this space needs a new free to play game. I mean,
Well, you need a new
got
mech
Marvel
game.
Rivals. I know we just got Marvel Rivals, but I'm already mentally checked out of it.
Really? All right.
I'm mentally checked out of it. For my mental state, man.
My mental state. He's like, there's too many skins with so much ass.
Nah, man, they just that game. They be trying their ass off, bro. Like
it was working crazy for them.
Yeah, they got it. They got a good. I seen a lot of the big orgs are getting into it. Like the 100 Thieves just said that they're building a team for it competitively. So let's see what they do. Hopefully they don't do the whole city thing, because I think that's what fucked up COD when they did the whole COD and Overwatch when they do the city thing. Like
try to do actual like real life cities. Yeah, no, they need to just have a team. And because I don't think esports is big enough to compare to like the NFL and shit.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not. Like
it's not.
They tried. They've been trying for like 4 or 5 years with Call of Duty.
It's the problem is that it's not something that like. I think the problem is that it's not something that like the average gamer I feel like would just be able to get into immediately. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a Halo player. HCS exists. I don't watch HCS that much.
Really?
And it's not because I don't want to. It's just because like I'm just not. I'd rather play the game and watch some other dude play it.
That's fair. I do both. I watch Call of Duty.
I'll watch. Like if someone's like, "Oh, yo, Space Station Gaming," or what is it? Optic or not Optic?
Yeah,
starts with the other. Is it Optic?
It's Optic.
Yeah. One of those two teams. And they'll tell me they're like in the Grand Championship or something. I might tune in, or if there's a drop for Twitch, I might tune in. But for the most part, I'm just the guy that likes to play the game.
Damn.
Like,
okay.
I think the difference is that the identities of the teammates. It's not like when we were growing up, right? And what was it? We had Ogre 1 and Ogre 2 in the Halo 3 Jones and MLG.
Yeah.
Like I think the identity of the people is not widely recognized amongst the casual players of the game they're playing. And I think the other issue is that there's so many games out there that finding a competitive scene for a particular game to be competitive, like not all games should be competitive esports games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like you got Siege, which I can see it. You have Call of Duty, which is competitive, but my brain, anytime someone says anything about Call of Duty esports, I'm like, oh fuck, I totally forgot they had to even have a competitive team. Like that's like I would be considered like your average casual COD player, like in general, like that just doesn't pay attention to everything that's orbiting COD. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's crazy you say this because I had an idea that I was gonna do with some guys. Um, we were talking about doing like a Call of Duty only podcast, and one of the guys was talking about like most people that play Call of Duty just they don't leave the game to look for more Call of Duty. Like they're not going to
Yeah, they're
YouTube
not watching your
and
streams. They're
watching.
not.
Yeah, they're not. They're just playing because Call of Duty is just the ultimate casual game. Like it is
Exactly.
the ultimate casual game. People just come home, they turn their console on, sit there, and they play a couple games till it's time to go to work or go to bed or whatever.
Like a large majority
may
of
be.
people that watch my streams or jump into the because I usually run an open lobby for like Halo and shit.
Yeah,
Are just people that are just playing the game. They're looking for people to play the game with. Like
yeah.
it's not like it's not that deep. Like I don't mind, but like they're not here to go. Oh, let me talk about the lore of the
Yeah, right,
Terminids, right?
right.
They're literally like, yo, bro, do you got an open slot? And I'm like, yeah. All right. He's like, all right, followed. All right, let's go. like, and then I might never see them in my chat again until I play that game again. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
it's
like,
like that with me too.
yeah, and
Like that
there's
with me.
nothing wrong with that, but that's kind of what I'm getting at here is like there's people that play esports competitively, they go to tournaments, they live and breathe that shit. And then there's the rest of the gaming community.
Yeah, man.
That's just they're either talking about lore, they're talking about, arts and crafts they're doing, like cosplay and shit like that. Like they're talking about like they're doing gameplay montages and shit. Like they're not talking about esports
Yeah,
as much. And
esports ain't that big. Like the good thing about like Madden and shit like that is again like Madden is based off of a real life sport. Call of
right.
Duty isn't based off of a real life sport. Well,
No. Yeah, believe
technically,
it or not, shooting
technically
each other in real life is kind of bad.
is. Well,
It's kind of bad, dude.
technically it is based
Like
off of
you
a
got
real life
competitive
sport.
airsoft and paintball, but even that shit's not as big as the NFL.
Yeah.
But I want to say like it's and also like the where we're at like in America, it's not as big, but in like Korea, it's huge. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's crazy over there.
Yeah, so it's really just your demographic you gotta kind of like advertise to. And maybe as the times go on, it'll get more popular, but like at this point in time in history, it's
I
just
don't
not
think
as
so.
big.
I don't think so. I don't.
I think it might. I think there's going to be a lot of changes
I
with
think
like
we got a
IRL
long
sports.
time to go. I think we got a long time to go because I think because me and my boy talk about this all the time because he's really big on esports. Like he's always watching
Hmm.
the Valorant shit, Call of Duty shit, all that shit. It's like what needs to happen is an organization needs to take this shit over and take full responsibility. Because the problem is with a lot like with Call of Duty, like I don't know if you follow like a lot of shit, but it's like not Call of Duty with Apex. For whatever competition, I think they got AGLS that's about to happen and shit.
Hmm.
EA basically said they're not paying for any of these organizations hotels anymore. Like they're done
Yeah.
with that shit. And that
Yeah.
was like a big deal. Like that was like a huge
No, yeah, there was a whole
fucking
boycott
deal.
and shit. Yeah,
Yeah, I was
no,
like, oh my god, like, but if you
but
look at like NFL, like those teams have to pay for, the franchise pays for everything. They pay for
yeah,
everything for if the Eagles go to here, they pay for all that. It's not the NFL.
Yeah.
It's the
And like I think that's also the situation that we're having is that like we have too many organizations that are trying to be just like MLG.
yeah.
And when MLG was literally just a blanket organization for all the competitive shooters and
Yeah,
other
man.
competitive games and stuff like that. And I think now you have like, well, you like you said, AOS or whatever the fuck it was, and you have
ALGS,
whatever
we got
League of
CDL.
Legends'
We
organization
got,
is,
yeah.
and then Halo has HCS, and like
Yep.
there's just too many different variety, and it's not a bad thing, but it's also not like a good thing because there's nothing
Yeah.
really like, you know, your average players like if they're gonna get into it, they're getting into the game that they like to play.
Like the top
And
two been the top two forever, and that's
yeah,
Dota and
it's
League
like
of Legends.
Dota, League of Legends, and then I think for shooters, it's like CS:GO and probably Siege. I want to say
Nah, CJ ain't up there no more.
it ain't up there. Well, I mean, not recently, but back in the day.
Valorant's bigger than Siege now.
Damn,
Yeah,
the
Valorant's
fall
bigger
off
than
is
Siege
real.
now.
Holy
Yeah,
shit,
ain't nobody trying to watch that shit, man.
Siege was fun to watch.
It was, but I don't know. Like me personally, like the only reason I watch COD is because when I watch the pros play, I kind of pick up on new tech. Like I'm just kind of like, okay, like oh shit,
Mhm.
yeah, I ain't see that hole before. That's a good hole he's got right there. Oh,
No, I get that.
where they
That's why.
rotated over here on P2 is pretty cool. Like I might have to do that with my squad and shit like that.
See,
And
that's
like,
the shit that loses me. I don't know what their call outs are. So when they're shouting that shit, I'm like, what?
well,
Like,
P2 is just point two, like hard point, the point moves. So
no,
point
and that's
one,
that's
point
what I'm
two.
saying. Like
Yeah.
it's like me in football. Like people are like, all right, they're on their fourth down. I was like, what the fuck is a fourth down? Like, I don't know this shit.
Yeah, nah,
Explain it.
it's like I said, I think just the biggest problem is they just need an organization like MLG back in the day to kind of just take over and be in control of everything. Because the problem with CDL is, and we're kind of going off the rails real quick, but it's cool because we don't really talk about esports like that. And I'm gonna just kill it right here. The problem with CDL is there's it doesn't define who and when and how people come into the league. It's just like, oh, you've been playing on Challengers, which is a website for the past 5 years. Do you want to be an organization? Yes or no? Like, what the
Yeah, it
fuck?
was like
Like,
game battles
you know what
back
I
in
mean?
the day.
Like, it's just like, damn, dog. Like, I mean, like
Yeah.
they got Falcons right now, right? In the CDL, dog, which is a Saudi Arabian team, dog. They're fucking ass. Like they literally bought their way into the league. Yeah, I mean, 'cause
Well, I
it's
mean,
Saudi Arabia.
they said that
I mean,
about the Saudi. I think there was something with Siege with that, like the Saudi Arabian Empire or whatever they're called, made a whole MLG event, and then they brought Siege players over, and then their team like dusted the fuck out of their Siege players or some shit.
yeah, man.
Like it's weird. Like
Saudi Arabia putting the money into it.
they're
They
trying to
are.
break into the space. They're doing
Yeah,
that with real life sports too,
yeah.
and it's
You
been a
see,
lot of like weird.
they got a whole arena for that shit in Saudi
Yeah,
Arabia. They have a whole
they're
arena for just esports.
it's just crazy, but
EWC, man.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that's the shift in culture you would need for it to be as like mainstream, right?
Yeah,
I don't think
it might
esports
be
is
that.
close to being mainstream.
Yeah, man.
It's still very niche.
But you know what's crazy? We're talking about this, right? We're talking about this Splitgate, man.
Yeah,
Splitgate is like an
literally
esport.
designed to
If you
be an
think,
esport. Yeah, I
yeah,
know.
like yeah, I mean, it's crazy. We're like talking about this. Like that was the craziest lead up ever. Like, yo,
Yeah,
when you
no,
really
it's
think about it,
natural.
like Splitgate is a
So,
esport. Go ahead and talk
how
about
much
it.
have you played a Splitgate during the alpha?
None, zero.
Okay, cool. All right, so you're going in this blind. So like Mecha
Yeah,
Break. Okay,
I've seen your streams, and that was it. Like I literally just watched.
I want to say this is probably the best arena shooter I've played in a long time. Not comparing Halo because Halo is not this. Like I know the tagline in the Splitgate one was Halo with portals, which it was essentially, but without all like the forge and the vehicles. They didn't add forge till like a little bit later when Splitgate one, and then that game like development died. But Splitgate 2 is literally like, all right, they like the fast competitive gameplay. They emphasized on that. It's a movement based shooter through and through. The portals just add that extra layer of technicality to it, which I like. But I also like that they didn't forget their roots. So they had a BTB mode, and the BTB mode isn't just one team against another. It's 3 teams going at each other at the same time. I think it's like 20 something players, like 20, 24 players. It's like teams of 8.
Wait, what do you mean?
It's multi-team.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it's multi-team with objectives too. In fact, the alpha was just going through like a bunch of different game modes. It wasn't like just Team Slayer. It was like domination, and then they had no breaks, which is literally like the one thing I complained about the original Splitgate beta that I played, Splitgate 2 beta that I played before this one, was that the respawn was punishing as fuck. Because in like the TDM mode, you would die, and then it felt like the longer the match went on, the more that you would more time would take for you to respawn. So you go from like 5 seconds to like 20 seconds.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, so it felt like that, and I was like, bro, why is it so punishing to play team deathmatch? And it's like, oh, they're doing this like competitive mode. So that was just for the 4v4, but for the big team battle mode and a giant ice map, which by the way, the ice on the map you actually reduces your friction, so you can go faster on it if you do a slide. So you can go really fucking fast. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, so they had basically chaotic mode, which is like low gravity, everyone's really fast, and that shit was crazy. It was literally like madness. Like if you got the baseball bat, you were basically killing everybody in one shot. But like, dude, it was insane. It was a lot of fun though. So I like that they kept their roots, because the original Splitgate was literally like it's styled to be a competitive style game with the announcer and the way the arenas were set up, but it's like a lot of it was really just casual play. And then this game is like the 4v4 is where your sweating is going to be at, but the BTB seems like it's going to be more casual friendly.
Okay.
Also, if you ever hit someone with the baseball bat in this game, it's super fucking satisfying.
I seen that when you were playing. I mean,
yeah,
that was pretty dope.
You just beat the fuck out of them.
Yeah, man.
Knock them out.
This is the question I gotta ask you, man, because you seem very enthusiastic about this game. Do you think this game can get you off of Halo?
For a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, I'm actually, the crazy thing about it is, even though I haven't played it, and I'm mad I didn't get time to play it, I just too much shit.
No, a lot of shit happened last month. A lot of shit. I was actually stressed the fuck out trying to plan streams and stuff.
Yeah, it was a lot. So it's like, do you think this game has the potential to stay longer than the first game did? This game's crossplay, right?
Yeah, it's all 3 platforms.
Okay.
We were playing against PlayStation players, Xbox players the entire time.
Okay. The first one was crossplay too, so that makes sense.
I think it was crossplay between Xbox.
Yeah, because remember, we used to play with like PlayStation people.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't remember if it's PlayStation or not. I wasn't sure if it was on there. But no, this game is fully crossplay. I think it's going to be free to play. I don't think you're going to have to pay for it. The way they set up the arena shooter, which was I was like hesitant about because of how they did it. So they basically went with the Halo 4 approach, which is like you spawn in, you have a loadout, but Halo 4's balancing was terrible because of that. Does that make sense?
No, I get it.
So like you get 2 guns, you get your primary, you get your secondary, which is usually a pistol of some variation.
You can make loadouts and shit.
Yeah, you get 2 perk points, and then you get 2 perks, and then you get your equipment. Your equipment recharges over time, so you don't have to worry about like, oh, I only have 1 grenade. Like, I think that was my main issue with what was that game that just died recently? X-Defiant. Yeah, I was gonna say XCOM for some reason. But yeah, so my issue with X-Defiant was that you get a grenade and you throw the grenade and you have no way to resupply your grenade. You'd have to die. This game was like, no, you get equipment and recharges over time. Same thing with your ability, which is unique to each faction. So the faction ability is global across the board. There is no like other abilities as far as I can tell. They might change that, but I don't know. So you know what you're fighting when you're fighting against like an orange dude. He throws up a shield that's a smart wall. You can shoot through one side, and even if you try to go on the other side to shoot from that side, he can still shoot through from the other side. It's not like the bubble shield or like the drop wall in Halo, where it's one sided and anyone can shoot through it. Like it's literally only your teammates and you can shoot through it. So it's a lot of you can play around it a lot more. The wall hack guy has wall hacks. It's global, I think, for teammates. It's not. I don't think, and this is my personal opinion. I don't like wall hacks that aren't like that are like global across the map. I think the range should be, you should pick a point on the map and then like have like an area of effect, kind of like the threat sensor.
Yeah.
I think having like just generalized, I can see you through the wall and you can't see me, shit, like Promethean vision in Halo 4 is fucking dumb. Because it ultimately just makes people want to play that class. But I will say here, it doesn't seem
in Call of Duty, man. Shit's fucked up.
It doesn't seem to be too bad, but like I think because of how the other classes are designed, you can counterplay it pretty effectively. And then you have your third faction, which is like the speed boost faction. Originally in the first alpha I played, they were really powerful because their ability basically gives you free health regen and overhealing. Which is basically like getting a free overshield. And once they popped it at low health, they basically became invulnerable till they got maxed health again. They fixed that, so now it's not as bad. You basically, if you take damage while you're using it, you still get the speed boost, but I think it stops your healing. So you're not getting like an free overshield, which was like how you won most of the gunfights and made you super tanky for no reason. But their weapons are all based on like how they play. I like playing the orange dudes because their weapons are like super high damage, slow fire rate, but they're super high damage. The shield I can play effectively against. It basically can play like I'm playing Halo with those guys. If I really in the mood to go fast, I play the arrows faction, and if I'm trying to play tactical or trying to fill that tactical role, I'll go with the purple guys, which I forget the name of. And each team has a global passive that affects everybody. So I think like with the orange dudes, you get more ammo reserves. I think you get more health regen with the purple dudes, and I think Arrows does something else that helps everybody.
Okay. And what game modes we got? We got like the same shit from like
Domination, Team Deathmatch, Bomb, like Assault from Halo, Search and Destroy I played, which was actually a lot of fun. Because you have portals involved, so it makes like you're not like just holding angles and shit. Like you're like paranoid the dude's gonna like teleport behind you and shit. You had like a ball, like it. There was like a game mode that was kind of like Halo Infinite's like Power Seed game mode, but but more fun because it's not like you can steal faster and it's more it just flowed a bit better on this game than in Halo Infinite. I always hated the Power Seed mode in Infinite. I didn't think it was that fun. I think I didn't see Capture the Flag, but I don't remember exactly. And yeah, so far it's just been that, but it's like they had variations too, like Chaotic Domination on BTB was crazy. They had team duos, but I didn't get to try it. They had solos queues too. And I want to say when the game launches, it's going to have a lot of like game mode variety.
That's good. That's good, man. Like I said, man, the free to play space right now is to me,
it's eating.
Is good. It's good.
You got Rivals. You got Mecha Break coming out soon. Splitgate 2.
You still got the old guard Fortnite,
Yeah.
Warzone, all that shit. I mean, but
yeah.
we need some new shit, man. Like I seen Spectre Divide came out on console. That shit came out on console.
I don't even know what that is.
That's the game where you play as two people. Like it's like a 3v3, but everybody's got like a body.
Oh, yeah. Man. That was made by like what, Shroud or somebody?
Yeah, well, Shroud helped with the game apparently.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the same with Splitgate. Like a lot of FPS streamers or whatever played the shit out of this and gave them pointers and stuff for the competitive modes.
Yeah,
So
we'll see what happens, man. Because like I said, I think the free to play space is doing. People are seeing the success of Marvel Rivals and what it's doing right, and I think people want to replicate that magic.
Mm-hmm.
And people like Apex and COD, they don't have to because they've already garnered the.
Well, I feel like
community.
I don't know. I'm gonna use Halo as an example. I feel like COD is eventually gonna have that issue.
Oh no, COD's having it right now. COD's having it right now.
No, but that's different, right?
Nah, man.
How many ways can you do Call of Duty?
Listen to me when I tell you this. Call of Duty may very well be cooked. All right. This last season that came out, we might as well just talk about it now. Fuck it. This last season that came out was supposed to be really promising. It's supposed to be really promising for the longevity of Black Ops 6. Because season 1 was just kind of long-winded. It was like 70-something days. It was like a lot of content at the beginning, and they just kind of went dry for the last 30, 40 days. Right?
Right.
Which isn't really this is the weird thing about the landscape of gaming that we're in now, where it's like back in the day, it was like you got a map pack for Call of Duty every 3-4 months. You know what I mean? And you had to pay for that shit. So if you didn't buy it, you were just literally locked out of the new content. So it really didn't matter. You essentially, if you didn't buy any of the map packs, which was me, I didn't buy a lot of the map packs for the older Call of Duties. You just played the same game for a year. You know what I mean? But now we live in this landscape of where they trickle feed you content, slowly but surely just give you content and drip it out to you to where it's that's just the landscape of gaming that we're in now. We just kind of expect that. I mean,
I kind of want to say that. So I don't mean to interrupt, but
no, go ahead.
I want to say that because you had kind of development time on the content, and you had to pay for it up front back in the day, as to now where most of the games are free and the cosmetics are what you pay for the most part. I think we have these periods of time towards the end of these seasons where, there's no new content coming out yet because they're getting ready for the new season. And then you have the little grace period of, I could put this down and go play something else while I wait for this.
Which I love that. Yeah, I love that.
And I appreciate that. This is why I was stressed about that last month, because I had Splitgate 2 alpha only available for 3 days, 3 to 4 days. I had Mecha Break that's currently available, but I don't know when that beta is going to end. And I have Monster Hunter Wilds on the horizon. And then right before that, I was checking out Avowed, and that shit was stacked for me. And then on top of that, I'm doing new Halo content was around that time as well. Which they launched squad battle ranked and assault, the assault game mode, which I will say, the annoying thing about sequels for the live service game is that they recycle a lot of content from older games, and they try to hype it up like it's brand new. And I feel like people have short-term memory when it comes to shit like that.
Yeah, bro, the shit's crazy.
I like the assault game mode in Halo, but I've played this shit, and this should have been in here day one. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's just we live in this TikTok world, right? Where just people's attention span just doesn't last that long. Back in the day, if you didn't buy the map packs, you played the same maps for 12 months until the next Call of Duty came out.
Yep.
You didn't get no new guns.
And you couldn't play with your friends too. That was another thing.
Yeah, if they had the new map packs, they could play in the map pack playlist, and you were locked out of that shit. So it's we live in this weird landscape where we have this weird need to we want new content every other day, which I understand and disagree to a certain extent. But with Call of Duty, it's they're essentially just giving you back what you already had.
Yeah.
And I've been saying this. I will die on this hill. I know I got into a really crazy conversation on stream about this, and like in a couple communities that I'm in. Like Modern Warfare 2 to me, 2022 was the most complete Call of Duty we ever got. Like it just felt like from the box we had a lot of content.
You
Now
did.
Black Ops 6 felt the same way as well. Like, it had zombies, it had a really good campaign. It had a good amount of shit, but I felt like Warzone was on fire with Modern Warfare 2. DMZ just came out, which was something fresh for Call of Duty. You had Spec Ops, you had campaign, which who cares? We had multiplayer.
Who cared?
I mean, you had so much content in the box when like that first season dropped, and then like when this season of Black Ops 6 dropped, it was like nothing but things that like inherently broke the fucking game. You know what I mean? Like it was like everything was broken. Everything that we already had, we had ranked in Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. So when they came out ranked for this, it was fucking broken. When they came out with Warzone for this, it was abysmal. Warzone is like fucked right now. You know what I mean? And I'm glad we're talking about this because, I'm pretty sure you've seen it just like I've seen it. Every major, publication is posted about it. But they're really banking on Verdansk, which is the old map, right? The old map that we already had in 2020. Supposed to be coming back April 3rd to Call of Duty. And if it doesn't do good, Warzone might get axed. It might get killed from the Call of Duty ecosystem because it's not doing good right now. It's not. Like Warzone's numbers have been dropping and dropping and dropping. And that's a lot of different things.
I think it's just.
Go ahead.
I think it's just because Warzone cannibalizes a lot of game modes in Call of Duty.
Yeah, like dog. We've been saying it for years. Warzone needs to be its own separate thing. Stop making it this premier game mode and then making your $60, $70 game the add-on to, because that's what it is. That's really what they made.
Yeah, because Warzone usually is free. Yeah, and everything else is paid for. And I think the problem is that like your guns, you level up for Warzone, and you got to do it in multiplayer. Most part, you can do it in Warzone, but it's easier if you just do it in multiplayer. And then like you have other game modes that like give you shit for unlocks for Warzone and stuff. And I think wasn't it like DMZ was also the thing like that gave you certain guns in general, and you could only carry those guns in to Warzone. If you unlocked them in DMZ, you couldn't really unlock them in like just regular gameplay.
They were good with it at first. So it's like if you killed somebody in DMZ who had the new season gun, who had the new season gun, and you didn't have it already, you took it, you would now have access to it in Warzone or whatever the case may be. You just had to level it up. But the thing with Call of Duty is it's hard to level up the guns in Warzone because it's a battle royale. You have to find them, or you have to already have access to those guns through your loadout and then level them up by using them when you get your loadout, which is a very specific time in the game mode. So the way that they kind of counterbalance this is like, hey, you can level all your guns up in multiplayer really fast. By just playing multiplayer and then going back into Warzone with these guns, and you're just murdering every fucking body. And the way that they counterbalance it too is that they make the fucking meta change every other week. So every other week, it's a new gun that's on top. This gun that just got nerfed. This gun got buffed. This gun got nerfed. This gun got buffed. This gun got buffed. This gun got nerfed. So it's like every week it's a new change to where it's like, if you're just a free-to-play Warzone player, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you keep up. I don't know how you do it. Because you're never going to be as good as the guy who bought Black Ops 6 day one, leveled up all his ARs, leveled up all his SMGs. Oh, this gun popping right now? Bet I'm switching to it. You can't really do that when you're a free-to-play, Warzone player. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's really not free to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In that sense. You know what I mean? And it's just like Warzone. I've been saying it just needs to be its own separate thing. Me personally, I think it needs to die. I mean, I think it needs to die because I think battle royales are just kind of cooked right now. Like nobody wants. It's crazy. We were screaming when Concord came out. We didn't want hero shooters. It seems like Marvel Rivals made people,
Honestly, just didn't want that hero shooter.
Yeah, they didn't want that hero shooter. But now it seems like hero shooters is like the thing now. I mean, like Fragpunk is essentially a hero shooter mixed in with Call of Duty, and that's what I really like about it. It's got the shooting of Call of Duty. So it kind of feels like Call of Duty. It has the premier game mode of Call of Duty, which is like search and destroy. That's their main mode. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a pretty dope game. It's like Valorant mixed with Call of Duty. Like the combat is like Call of Duty. Like you're shooting like Call of Duty, but you have abilities like Valorant. You know what I mean? So Fragpunk works. You know what I mean? But Call of Duty is just like it's so fucked, man. It's so fucked, dog. Like this new season came out and it just broke more shit. You know what I mean? It broke more shit. It fixed rank if you're on console. I mean, if you're on PC, you're still dealing with hackers, which is the biggest problem of the game right now.
That's a global issue across the gaming industry, though.
That's a problem with. Listen, that's a problem with Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Listen, Fortnite's got it figured out. Valorant has it figured out. I don't play too much Halo, but I've never.
It's off and on with Halo. Like one minute it's fine, next minute like people are bitching about it. I'm like, I don't personally see a lot of hackers. I've seen like one in Infinite, and I haven't seen that many in MCC. But then again, it's not the type of game where you can really tell. That should
let you know something. You said you've seen one. All right, I can see like 5 or 6 a night in Call of Duty. Like that's crazy. Like
that is crazy.
That's fucking crazy. Like, you know what I mean? That's crazy. Like I said, their biggest issue, man. Our biggest problem with Call of Duty right now is just the anti-cheat. But the store always works. Store always works. You know what I mean? I can't access the barracks because of a glitch, but the store works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or I can't queue up into this, but the store works. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like I've listened to a video on YouTube and he said it perfectly. It feels like you're selling me a store with a game attached to it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what Call of Duty literally feels like now. Like, dog, it's always been like that. Like they've always had something you could buy. And then with Modern Warfare 2019, they had a store with skins and shit. But it was never to this level. I'm talking about we got a new skin like every day.
Mm-hmm.
There's something new coming out in that store every fucking day. We're talking about new, not something old that there was like, oh, it's returned back to the store. This is something new that they've brought back to the store that's in there. You know what I mean? But your premier game mode doesn't work, which is Warzone. You know what I mean, whatever. Because there's glitches galore in that joint. You'll spawn, you'll go hit your loadout, and your loadout doesn't work. You know what I mean? So you'll have no gun. You'll have no gun. You know, you just hit your loadout and there's no gun. You know what I mean? There's so many problems with Call of Duty that I could probably I think I'm gonna just make a video and just talk about it all there. But like COD is cooked, man. It's like it's at a state where it's like I personally don't want to play it because again, like I play it for the social experience, but then the social experience right now is kind of shitty. Because again, the SBMM, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm good and all my friends are just kind of average at the game, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're not having a good time. Like, half of my community has literally told me, like, I hate playing in your lobbies. I'm not playing Call of Duty with you because I hate playing in your lobbies. All right, that's fair, but, like, that's fucked up. Like, I want to play with my boys and shit. Like,
I think it should just be turned off or turned down to the extreme.
Dog, it's extreme in this game. It's
like I play.
It is extreme, dog.
I play Halo with like Wolverine and them, and like I'll be like, oh, let's do 4v4s because I think nothing of it, and then like Octavius, like he's like the dog that's getting like dragged around with the choker, like getting like cooked by like a lot of people, and it's like Like it's like, oh yeah, I forgot. I'm in like a platinum Onyx lobby for the fucking casual mode instead of just existing in ranked. So now everyone I'm playing with they're like not having a great time because they're getting pressed a lot and they're not used to that. And I'm used to it. I don't mind like getting my shit kicked in every so often, but it's like not fun for them. Then nobody's having fun. So like, why just turn it off for casual? That's it. That's all you got to do. You don't like it's his main problem I had for Siege, where it was like quick match was literally like the invitationals because you did well. Like I don't know why they keep doing it, but it's just something that exists, and until they realize that like, hey, this should just be only in unranked and ranked game modes.
It's bad, man. Like Call of Duty's so bad, bro. Like it's like you'll get one game where you'll shit on the team and you'll get a 5+ KD. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden the next game you're playing fucking team.
Yeah, and you have like a negative 12.
You know what I mean? Well, not me, but most people are going negative. So then it's like I'm at the point where Call of Duty where my lobbies are just consistent. Like it's always a sweat fest. Like I'm sweating every game. Like I gotta go hard every game. And it's just like it sucks for my friends that aren't as good because like they just want to kick back and relax and play the game because they want to play with me. And it's like they're being put in an algorithm. You know what I mean? It's like that's not cool, bro. Like that's not, nobody wants to be it's the manipulation, man. It's like I told people once I beat this battle pass, y'all, like they won't see me again until season 3. And I'm trying to stick to that. But like my community, unfortunately, is a lot of Call of Duty heads.
You just gotta expose them to Monster Hunter.
I'm trying, man, but it's Monster Hunter's not everybody's game, and I understand that, but it's
Well, hey, maybe you'll get lucky, all right? Maybe Splitgate 2 will come out and they won't have that bullshit in the casual play,
Yeah, hopefully, because
I don't think Mecha Break has it. You know what? It is a Mecha Break. It's turned all the way down, and I'm not even playing the casual mode. I'm playing competitive, and that's just your default game mode at first. Man. You don't even realize you're playing it.
Yeah, man. Like it's fucked, bro. It's fucked. And they won't figure it out. Like you have all the big creators saying, "Oh, I talked to somebody at Activision and Verdansk is looking really good." It's like, all right, man. Like,
yeah, but like
they're just trying to get you. They're trying to get you to come back because most of the big creators went to Marvel Rivals. Like Nade Shot went to Marvel Rivals. Tim the Tap Man went to Marvel Rivals. I mean, Nick Merckx is back on Apex. Like, I mean, like a lot of the big Call of Duty guys aren't streaming COD no more. They're not doing it. So they gotta figure something out, man. Because it's a shame, and I've been saying it. I say it every stream, every time I stream Call of Duty. Now it's like this game was so fucking good at launch, and now
it's just like cooked.
Fuck, man. It's cooked. COD is cooked, man. COD is cooked, man.
What is I gonna say? But you know what? We've been ranting about this for a minute. Should probably just talk about some news stuff real quick.
Yeah, let's talk about other depressing news, man. Let's talk about games shutting down, man.
Yeah.
WB. Fuck.
Yeah, all three. The studio that made you fucking what was it called? Shadow of War. Gone.
Yeah, man.
The studio that made you Multiverses, gone. And the studio that was apparently working on that's the same studio. And then there was another studio that I don't know. Wonder Woman game is canceled because of that, because they don't have a studio anymore. And now we'll never know what the next game with the Nemesis system will be because they have a patent until I think 2036. And that's assuming they don't renew that, which it's a giant corporation. They're gonna do it. They're gonna hold on to that for dear life. Sucks because I feel like some of those studios, like Multiverses, I feel like got a bad rap because they pulled the game off the shelf instead of just letting it just kind of like get its own community. And then they tried to relaunch it and then it failed. And then it was like, oh, why did it fail? And it's like, because you took the game away.
Yeah, you took the game away and its peak hype.
Yeah.
At its peak hype, you took the game away, went radio fucking silent.
Yeah.
Right? You went that's the part that people don't forget. There was like no communication. And it's like we live in this weird era of where devs just feel like, and publishers and shit just feel really comfortable just like dropping a product and just being quiet about it. Like, it's just like, dog, like, especially with these live service games, like, please communicate. Please let people
Yeah, you
know
got to give
like
updates.
what's
You can't
going,
just go
because
silent and just not
yeah,
talk about it.
that's what killed that game, was that it was going crazy. I remember having fun with it when it first
Yeah,
dropped. Like, I was,
people liked it. I played it. It
yeah,
was pretty cool. I
I
didn't.
was thinking
Again,
about
those
doing
fighting
some
games are not my
content
thing.
about it, and they just fucking, they
Yeah, they
just
took it off the shelf, and that was it. They should have
said,
just
"Oh,
kept
we'll
it
be
on the
back,"
shelf.
and then a year later they're gonna re-drop it. They re-drop the shit, and then
It was like the same game though. They added like one or two characters, and that was it. Like it was.
oh, this shit was weird, man. Like,
Yeah,
this shit was weird, and
it was like no point in you taking it off the shelf. It was like exactly the same style. Like it was duos, and that was it. Like there's no
yeah,
solos.
man.
So
And they
I don't
just
know.
they didn't cultivate that community enough. Like,
I would have left it
shooters
out there.
shooters and fighting games are in two different realms, bro.
Yeah,
They are at like two different like categories. Like, fighting games, you can try to appease to the casuals, which is what they were trying to do with multiverses. But the problem with fighting games is, fighting games are really niche. Like, again, like, a lot of people don't think that way. But really, how many people do you know that really like just actively play fighting games? And when they do play a fighting game, they're playing one or maybe two fighting games at a time. Most
yeah.
people stick to
I
their
know
Tekken
like
or
two
their Street
people.
Fighter. Yeah, they stick to their Street Fighter and their Tekken, either or both, and then that's it. Or they may dabble with something else. So, like, I know for a lot of my FGC friends, this game not having a ranked mode tanked it. Tanked it. The
Probably.
game didn't have a ranked mode. Most FGC people want to talk shit. They want a nice little rank to go with their shit. You know what I mean? And it's just it's fucked, man. It's
Hmm.
fucked. It's fucked, man.
Hey, but you know, it's funny enough. Even though these games like kind of failed, or the studio didn't even get a chance to put the game out that they were working on, it's good to know that they're not the only ones that probably lost their jobs. I know Marvel Rivals also laid off a bunch of people despite how successful that game was. Um, and then also another game that died, Dauntless, which is kind of ironic. It
Oh
died
yeah,
right before
man.
Monster Hunter came
Yeah, it
out.
died right before it. And that game's
That
that
was the free
game's
to play
story,
Monster Hunter
yeah.
game.
That game's story is just like, it's too
It
riddled
had
for
a
me to
community,
talk.
and then the greed got to it, and then it killed the
Yeah.
community.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
that's pretty much it.
They reworked the game. They reworked the entire game and then made it more pay to win. And people
Yeah,
said, nope.
you can't do that. You
Yeah,
can't do
man.
that.
Fuck that joint.
Yeah, no, they killed that game. They tried to pull a fast one, and the community was like, "No, we're not playing this shit. We'll go play. We'll actually pay money for Monster Hunter. Let's do that." Like that's it.
Mhm.
How are you gonna have a free to play like? And that's not the only Monster Hunter clone that I think like failed. Like Wild Hearts was not really too successful in that as well. And that was a game I thought was Monster Hunter for a while until someone
Yeah.
was like, "No, that's like an Ubisoft game."
That was an EA game, but
Oh,
yeah,
that's
that shit
even
was
worse.
crazy. Yeah, that shit was crazy. Yeah, it's Dauntless's story, like I said, was just like the pay to win thing. Like, that's the thing with these free to play games. Like, you have to have a balance of the bullshit. I mean, like, the free to play thing is to get people in the door. You know what I mean,
Yeah,
you set the barrier of entry as low as you can to get people to be like, oh shit, the shit's free. Like, yeah, I mean, like, look at our whole conversation with Mecha Break. I'm gonna still play it if it wasn't free, but it being free is like,
just 10
no,
times
it's a
better.
no-brainer. You go
It's
try
like
it.
free to play is the barrier to entry that to most multiplayer games, and then like crossplay is like the bread and butter you need to make it consistent.
Yeah, bro. And then whatever you build on top of that is like the important part. Like, again, we talked about it 1,000 times on Marvel Rivals. Is just killing it and doing what it does, and that's because, again, the barrier to entry is free to play. The game fucking worked when it came out.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun to actually play.
Yeah, like, it just worked. Like, I didn't have any bugs, no issues, no nothing. Sure, there may have been some balance issues, but it's a brand new game, stuff like that. But everything was there. Ranked was there. Pubs was there. They were already talking about tournaments, battle pass to, get your feet wet. Hey, look, we got this small little battle pass. Maybe you want to try it out type shit. Like they had a lot of things that like games take 6 months to give you from the beginning. And I think with the other game we were talking about, not Dauntless, what was the other game?
Wild Hearts?
Yeah. I think with Wild Hearts, like that game was $60 and its fucking identity was from another game. And it's
it was Monster Hunter, but you can build shit like Fortnite. No, that was it.
Yeah, it's like I just again like with free to play, you gotta be careful. Like I know, like with Spectre Divide when it first came out, the big controversy with that game was it's free to play, but that store was crazy. The store was great, like price wise, was like Valorant. It had Valorant prices in the store.
Yeah,
and that's
like
studio,
an indie game.
Yeah, it made the studio be like, all right, my bad. We're gonna put them prices down because it's like you've done nothing for us to warrant those prices. I mean, unfortunately, Riot, all right, has a rapport in the gaming industry. I mean, they made League of Legends, they made TFT. They have so many other games where it's like they can come out with a free to play game and say like that up and coming fighter they got coming out and be like, yeah, it's $30 a fucking a character, and people will buy that shit because that's just what their fucking player base is. That's what their community is. Like, I don't know what's up with Valorant, League of Legends players. They see something expensive, it's like a challenge. Like they gotta buy this shit. Like, you think I won't buy it? Like, but like that game came out and it was like, yeah, $50 for this skin. It's like, bro, what? Like, you didn't even prove yourself to have any staying power yet to fucking be charging people shit like that. Like, that's outrageous. That's outrageous. So it's like I think a lot of these games, they just need to find that like that soft entry. Like, hey, you're having fun with the game. Do you want to throw it's like $20 on this or on that or on this or on that? Like, I hate to say it as much as I hated on XDefiant. XDefiant was like that. Like, I was having fun with XDefiant to the point where it was like, hey, I didn't mind throwing them $20, $30 on some skins or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Like, I was having fun with it. I mean, like, get me in the door. If I'm having a good time, I'll spend some money. Don't just like what was the game I was watching somebody play the other day? Oh man, I can't remember. It was a game I was watching somebody play, just came out. Oh, it was Fragpunk. It was Fragpunk.
Right.
Literally the first thing you see when you load up Fragpunk is you want to buy our monthly, they have like a monthly membership thing you can buy. I was like, yo, that's crazy. It's free to play. But they have like a monthly thing that you can buy. It's the first thing you see when you start the game.
Yeah, it's not as bad as Destiny 2.
Yeah, but like, god damn, bro. Like, I just started.
It's not even a free-to-play game.
I didn't even play the tutorial yet. You're like, yo, you want to spend $10 a month on?
I think it's because they're an indie studio, so like they're trying to make sure they secure the bag.
I think you secure the bag by making sure people are enjoying the product that you give them.
I mean, that's true.
That's like me giving you a glass of water, right? I'm saying, oh, it's free, but just give me $20 before you take a sip of that. You know what I mean? Before you take a sip of that water, give me $20. You know what I mean?
It's like tipping your server. It's optional.
Yeah. it's like, yo, you want to, I tell you, yo, you want a water, it's free. And it's like, yeah, I'll take the water and I just put water in your hands. You're like, dude, can I get a glass? Oh no, the glass is $5. Like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean?
And bro just pours tap water in your hands.
Yeah, like what the fuck? like what? Like, give somebody a product to be like, oh shit, I like this. Well, what more do you got for me? Oh well, yeah, we got skins. You like I said, like Marvel Rivals does that shit perfectly. It doesn't throw nothing in your face. It's a shame. Now with WB, oh my god, with WB, man, with WB. They done fucked up, man. Because one, they got the Nemesis system, which is They got a patent too, and it's not free till what, like 2036 or some shit like that.
Yeah, like I said, it wasn't. That's when they have to renew it.
Yeah,
And that doesn't mean they're not gonna. They might just lock it down just because they don't want competition, and they might never do anything with it again. Like Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor, whatever. It might be the only 2 games that ever have that system.
crazy dog.
And it's not even like, to me, that's not even like a crazy system. Like I don't know how you patent something like that. It's like Pokemon patenting throwing balls at fucking animals. Like it's fucking stupid.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, to me, I feel like you shouldn't be able to patent concepts like that. Like that's like like maybe the specific technology that goes into it, maybe, but like the idea of, oh, if I kill this dude, he might come back and fight me, doesn't seem like a crazy concept.
Right.
Yeah, like that's my only gripe against shit like that, because it stagnates the entire gaming industry, and like this, I don't know. I think it's just dumb. But I'm not a triple A studio, so that needs money all the time.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like WB just had a banger of a game. They just had a banger of a game with Hogwarts Legacy. Like,
but it was a year ago, and all the money from that has been earned. Like everything else afterwards is just passive income.
My fault.
Yeah, it's single player. Yeah, you can't make money off of single player games. Remember that.
Yeah, man.
You got it. Yeah. They were about to launch a Wonder Woman game, and the same studio that did Shadow of War was going to do it, and they also had a new IP that they wanted to work on.
They had Suicide Squad that tanked.
Oh yeah, that tanked so hard, and that's a multiplayer game.
Yeah, man.
That was built to be a live service off of possibly what was supposed to be maybe a single player game, and they kind of shit the bed there, but I forgot all about Suicide Squad. And yeah. I'm going to say, like, it sucks that people lose their jobs over this shit, but like some of these games kind of deserve it. Like some of these games kind of deserve it. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, man.
Like the way they're built, the way they're monetized, sometimes it just justifies it.
Yeah, man. It's a shame, dog. I do agree.
It's not always the devs' fault, but
yeah. Like that's what I was just gonna say. Like sometimes you can't blame the devs; you gotta blame the people at the top. But
yeah, the leadership and the publishers.
A shitty game, I mean, like people aren't gonna accept shit anymore, man. Like especially when you're selling expensive shit. You know what I mean? Like games aren't cheap, man. $70 is groceries, man. You know what I mean? And then a lot of these games aren't just $70 anymore. They're $70 is just the goddamn
piggyback
game.
Off that, Xbox Assassin's Creed Shadows when it first announced was $130 for the deluxe edition or whatever.
Yeah, man.
And the early access and everything.
Yeah, they done cut all that shit out because they don't want the bad PR and shit.
It's not even the bad PR. They've been had bad PR. They've nonstop bad PR. In fact, the game leaked and people are selling physical copies on like eBay.
Yeah, man. It's fucked, man. I'm excited for the game because I like Japanese shit. The last 2 Assassin's Creeds were like really good to me, so I want to see what this new one does. But
hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully it's not like it's not like a Veilguard type situation where they're like they make the writing bad or some shit like that, or like the gameplay that looks good is actually just generic.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Let's move on to something a little bit positive. Is there anything from the showcases that like came out recently that you're looking forward to?
Like of this year?
Yeah, like Nintendo just had their showcase for Pokemon Day. PSN had a showcase about a month ago, and Xbox also had one fairly recently.
Oh yeah. So where do you want to start at? You want to start with Xbox, or you want to start with the PlayStation joint? I can tell y'all with the PlayStation joint, I ain't really like it too.
I saw like 1 or 2 games that looked interesting, but again, there's sword games, and I'm not like 100% sold on them until I see like more about it, because they're all like
Right.
high fantasy style games, like
Right.
similar. Like I don't want to say Souls like, but like an action adventure. Um,
Yeah,
Xbox pretty
man.
much showed a lot of the same stuff, but more gameplay. I think they showed off more Doom, and I
Yeah.
think they also showed off some more gameplay for Borderlands 4.
Yeah. And they showed the new Ninja Gaiden. I
Yeah,
mean,
that looked
I
good.
I like the Xbox showcase because as I said, because I was a guest on my boys podcast. Shout out to KXI Network. I was on the Gamer Actual podcast, and I said the one thing I liked about um the thing I liked about the Xbox showcase was it was more to show you the value of Game Pass. You know what I mean? Like if you
Hmm.
were one of those people that was like about to cancel your subscription for Game Pass or something, this was something to remind you, hey, we got this, we got that. Don't cancel that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's what that's the vibe that I got from the Xbox showcase, which was good. Like it's showing us all these games that are coming out 2025, coming out this year, not next year, not the year after, like right now. Like you can get the Expedition 33, which looks really fucking good. That's gonna be day one Game Pass this year. I mean Doom this year. Uh
Hmm.
what's the other game they
We
showed?
got
Ninja
Avowed
Gaiden
to try
this
out
year.
this
Yeah,
year.
Avowed this year. They shadow dropped Ninja Gaiden Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Day one. Like, you know what I mean?
Isn't
Now with
isn't
the
that Midnight game coming out this year too?
oh yeah, that game looked good
And then
too.
there's a
Day one
turn-based
on Game
RPG that's coming
Pass.
out this year too. That looked
That was
interesting.
Expedition 33.
Oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that looks good. And then I think with PlayStation's showcase, it was like most of the games they showed us, like they showed us like maybe two or three. I'm not gonna say most. Two or three games they showed us, we've already seen,
Hmm.
and we've seen 1,000 times. We don't
A
need to
lot of it
see
was
anymore.
third-party stuff and like
Yeah, a lot of it was
Elden
third
Ring.
party shit that was going to Xbox or anything. So it's like
No
if I was
Bloodborne.
doing a showcase for my company, right, for my console, you didn't sell me a PS5. You just sold me games I could buy on my PS5 if I had one. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think like Xbox did a really good job at selling me a Game Pass. I mean, they did a
Yeah,
good
they
job
always
at selling me
make
a
sure
product.
they remind you that, oh, day one on Game Pass. And that's
Yeah,
important.
yeah, and I think with Sony was just like, oh yeah, we got all these awesome games that are coming to PlayStation, but they're also on other systems that you probably
And they're
already
probably
own.
gonna be full priced.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like, well, all right, man. But like
Now at
that's
least
not to say I wasn't interested in the games. They look good.
yeah. Would you all right, so aside from those two, what'd you think about Pokemon Legends? ZA.
Go ahead, man. I'm gonna let you talk. I'm gonna let you
You
talk.
haven't
Go
seen it
ahead.
yet, have you?
I have, man. I watched. I
How
watched.
do you feel about your favorite Pokemon not being there?
I'm hurt. I hope it wasn't no weird shit that made them take him out of the game, but I
It's not
get
him
it.
dodging the allegations.
That's what I thought. I was like, damn, they ain't got my man in there because he
I thought I
doing
was
weird
thrown off. It
shit.
was like Totodile, Chikorita, and then fucking Tepig, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think
Why are
they
you
did.
here?
Yeah, I think they did the favorites, quote unquote, the favorites. Like Totodile, people love
I
Totodile.
fucking love Totodile.
I feel like he's like for me, even like not being a big fan of Totodile, like you don't see him get any love. Like
No, he gets absolutely zero
Typhlosion
love.
has a fucking Hisuian version where he's
Yeah.
Ghost Fire. I mean, like,
But here's the thing that's weird. It's that like in the first Legends games, you had three different starters from three different generations, and this time we have two from the same, and then one from like Gen 5. And I'm like, I would
I
rather you
don't
just
know,
do three
man.
different generations.
Because this is gonna be an X and Y. This is X and Y, right?
Yeah, technically it's X and Y. A lot of people thought it was black and white. I thought it was black and white at first, but no, this is X and Y. So Mega Evolutions are making a return, which is good. Um, it's kind of the way that did battling is also like you can dodge with your Pokemon now too. Like it's a lot more involved. So I'm wondering if they're kind of like testing this to be like a main game mechanic because with the first Legends game, we kind of got dodge rolling and throwing the actual Pokeball and shit. And then when when Scarlet and Violet came out, some of those mechanics transferred over, although it wasn't as good as like that Legends game. So I'm kind of hoping that that's what they're doing with the Legends series, is where they can play around with possible main game mechanics, and then just kind of like bringing them over the way based on how the audience receives them.
Yeah, man. Like I like how like your positioning matters and stuff. It seems like
Mm-hmm.
with this new Pokemon game, they're trying to set up for the new generation of Pokemon. Like, I mean, like,
I
but I don't
think
want to get
so.
too excited. I don't want to get too excited because I said the same thing with Arceus. I'm like, Arceus was like, damn, like this is what we need in a mainline game, and then
Yeah.
fucking Scarlet and Violet.
And Scarlet Violet, which is like optimized like shit and fucking was like bland as hell.
Yeah, man. I'm just like,
I'm
fuck.
I kind of think, considering that ZA is coming out at the end of the year, I think that's when the Switch 2 is launching.
Yeah.
I'm making a guess because it seems like this would be beneficial if they launch this on next gen hardware.
Yeah, man. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I seen that this game might be coming out on the Switch 1 and the Switch 2, which
It's possible. I can see it.
it doesn't look like they were selling that game as a Switch 2 property. It was like it's
Right.
gonna be one of those games you're gonna be able to buy on the Switch 1 and Switch 2. So I'm a little worried because I think if the Switch 2 doesn't really have anything that's gonna sell me on it, like Metroid, like that's only for that system,
I'm pretty
I'ma
sure
just
Metroid
get it on
Prime's
the
only
Switch
coming
1.
out for 2.
I don't know, man.
I
Like
think my thing is that with the prior hardware, I want to upgrade to the Switch 2 because it hopefully will run the games better. Like Breath of the Wild had frame rate stutter and shit and issues. If I were to play Breath of the Wild 1 on the Switch 2, would it run better? And that's kind of where my head's at.
yeah, man. It's like with me, I feel the same way. Like I want to upgrade my Switch as well, but it's like one of those things where it's like the Switch for me was hot in the beginning, from maybe like
Yeah,
2017 to 2018,
you were all
2019.
over it. I didn't get a Switch until
Yeah,
Pokemon Let's Go came out.
yeah, man. And it was like maybe like 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. That
Yeah,
shit, that shit like fell off, man. That shit fell off.
I mean that's fair.
That shit fell off, and it's like I don't want them to do the same thing with the Switch 2, where it's hot in the beginning. We got banger after banger after banger, and it's like the last 5 years of the console, life cycle, you don't even use it. I mean, like,
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, if I can get, I'm gonna say this: if I can get Metroid Prime 4 on my Switch, my current Switch, and the new Pokemon, I'll wait on getting the Switch 2. I will generally.
I mean that's fair. What
Because
I'm thinking
we
is that
gotta think we gotta think about politics. That's what I was getting to, is that we gotta think about politics. Tariffs, man.
oh yeah,
That console might be a little pricey, dog, and it might not be worth.
it's not about what the original price is, about what the scalper price is.
Yeah, man. Like this shit gonna be
Fucking,
kind of crazy.
it is gonna be crazy,
So
but
I think they're trying to
hopefully,
future proof their games. My fault, bro.
no, you're good. Hopefully it'll be backwards compatible, so I don't have to rebuy the same game twice.
Yeah, well, that's what they saying. That's what they saying. They saying that the Switch 2 is gonna play Switch 1 games. So
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you can put in the Switch 1 cartridge into the Switch 2. I mean, like they might be like, oh, you gotta buy it through the eShop. You know what I mean?
maybe we'll see.
It's Nintendo. They're kind of hit or miss on
Nintendo, yeah,
monetization.
they're greedy as shit. But I truly think they did good with the backwards compatibility of like the Wii, the Wii U, the GameCube, and the Wii U. So I mean, we'll see, man. Because like I said, the Wii U played all three of those things. It played Wii, Wii U, and GameCube games. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see,
All right.
man.
Well, is there anything else you wanted to talk about, or
I
like
think
is
that's
that
all we
about it?
got, man. I know this. I know this a long ass episode. You
This
know,
is
we
a
had to get
beefy
it in
one.
with the. Yeah, we had to get it in with the
Yeah,
monster
the
hunter. Y'all
fucking
been asking. Y'all been asking.
esports rant, Call of Duty rant.
But I think that was good. I think the esports rank, because we don't really talk about esports, and
Yeah,
I know we probably have people who think like, oh, why don't we never talk? And that's why it's like the
it's just
esports.
we're casual players.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not big enough for us to. It's not big enough for us to spend a section
like I'm not
talking about it. Like,
buying an optic T-shirt. Like I might buy a skin because I think it looks cool, but if it's not looking cool to me, I'm not gonna
yeah,
get it.
man.
Like
Yeah,
it's
man.
like I've been told like, oh yeah, you buying this, you're supporting the team. And it's like that's great and all, but like I don't watch enough to want to do that. So really,
Yeah,
like, yeah,
we
hit or
should.
miss.
We'll end it on these two things real quickly. One, fuck respawn or EA. I'm gonna say fuck
Fuck
EA
respawn
for
eBay.
for fuck EA for canceling
Titanfall
respawns
3.
whatever game they had
I'm
coming
gonna
up.
assume it's Titanfall 3.
I'm,
That's
I'm gonna
why.
assume the same thing. So we're just gonna
Yeah.
leave
So
it at
fuck
that.
them.
Nothing to talk about there. How do you feel about the Marvel rival layoffs? We're gonna leave it at that. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm
that's
kind of mad about that. I don't because the game did well. I don't know why you're laying off people now. If it's a situation where it's like we only really needed you guys for the beginning stages of the game, and the contract ended, and they just had to lay them off like that, then it's like one thing. Again, it's a Chinese developed game, so like majority the major devs are going to be in China. I'm assuming, and maybe
yeah,
the only teams that I know that got laid off were the American support team. So I don't know how much support that they actually did. And it's not like I'm saying like, oh man, they might have like, their job was done. They didn't need them anymore. It could be as simple as that. It could be NetEase is a greedy company too, so they could have just been like, we're gonna lay off everyone, and then the only team that's gonna work on this is like the people we absolutely need. And that might be downhill from there. That might be a red flag right there. I don't know. We got to wait and see how the game is, because it's still in the beginning. Like we're only in season 1 still.
yeah, yeah, man. We'll
So
see, man.
hopefully those people will land on their feet though, like get better jobs. But that's a different discussion for everything. But
Yeah,
I think
man.
that's
I think
about
it's
it though.
yeah, I think it's fucked up, but I don't know the landscape of the situation to really speak on it too much. That's why, like, we're kind of talking about it here at the end. Like, I don't think this was like some. It's unfortunate, yes, but I think it's a lot more than like, hey, we had a successful game, but you have to get the fuck out of here. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't like a Bungie situation with Destiny 2
Oh yeah, when they had like a
with the
super
final shape.
successful expansion pack,
Yeah,
and then the guy
yeah,
spent a bunch of money on cars and was like, "Oh, I need money now. Let me go lay off a
yeah,
bunch of people." Yeah,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
that's some fuck shit.
Yeah, I don't think it was a situation like that. I think it was like, hey, we needed you guys to kind of westernize the game for us. You did that part, so now we no longer need you.
Yeah,
And
I don't
and it's
know. I don't know.
unfortunate because you should be able to keep those people because again, I heard Marvel Rivals made like $3 billion in December, Christmas month. So like Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? Like,
It's wildly successful, and
yeah,
yeah,
man. But this is the gaming landscape we live in now, man. Like I won't be surprised if we got more layoffs coming this year. More flopped games. Like I'm expecting more games to say, "Hey, we're just closing down." Like I mean, like
yeah. I
I'm
mean,
expecting it all,
it's
man.
highly competitive out there, so it's gonna happen. And I hope it's not to games that I like, but sometimes it does.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it does. I think for the most part, like I mean, we're all praying that Apex fails. I mean, I want that game to fail so fucking bad.
Jesus Christ, you used to love Apex,
I
dude.
did, man. I still love it.
No,
I
no,
just
no,
I
no.
don't want to
We're not
believe
doing this
that.
again. You say this every time.
Every podcast. But I'm
Gotta go
sad
on
to
an
say I love
Apex rant real quick.
it.
No, no.
Look, go play fucking Monster Hunter if you didn't already, man. Please go play that joint, man. Even if you don't like those types of games, just give it a try. Or come watch me and E-Night. I mean, on our Twitch channels, we'll be streaming it when we stream it. Those links will be down there in the video section and all that jazz. I appreciate y'all. You got anything to close it out on, man?
I gotta take a shit.
I got to take a piss, man. So I'm with him on that, man. We're going to close this out I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Have a good rest of your night, day, whatever. Share with your
Bye.
friends. Love y'all. Peace.